This is the Bear Country Outdoors Barely a Podcast. I'm your host, Doug Joyce, and with me is James Forsland and Chris Cantrell. Thanks for joining. Welcome back to Barely a Podcast. We're starting a new season tonight, and for the first episode, we have a special guest, Mr. Jake Roberts. Or Jeff Roberts.
Jeff Roberts.
Jake Roberts.
Jake the Snake
Jeff
Roberts. Jake the Snake?
Jake the Snake.
I know you. You look good.
Thanks,
you're like 80.
I've cleaned up.
Yeah.
Cleaned up. Yeah. Happy to be here, boys.
Yeah.
Pounding beers and
We're
talking some shit.
gonna have a good old
PNWild.
time.
So
Yeah.
Jeff
PNWild.
is the, I would guess you would say the leader of PNWild.
You're the founder, right?
Founder, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think people
Yep.
look to you as the leader
Okay.
of PNWild.
Okay. Yep.
I mean, as
I'll
far
take
as
it.
I understand it.
Yep. I
Yeah.
started it. Me and Zach were the first ones, and then Bob jumped on board in 2017 or 18.
When did you start? What year?
Our first video came out in 2017.
Nice.
Yeah. Started it in summer of 16 and recorded our first hunt in the fall of 16. And then I was like, who's going to edit this shit? We're all broke dicks.
Yeah.
We don't have money to pay editors. So I was like, I guess I'll just raise my hand to learn how to edit. And jumped on YouTube University and got my PhD in YouTube University.
There you go.
Pretty good, dude.
I'm working on mine right now.
Yeah. Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
and
fun. You spend a
learned
lot
how
of
to-
time in front of a computer.
Tons of time. Yeah, too much. Ask my wife.
I'm not going
Ask
to-
my wife. Too
Yeah.
much time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just kind of learned how to do it all myself. Lots of YouTube, lots of just trial and error. And then edited our first video with help of one of my buddies from high school, Brian, who was kind of like us, just side gigging it, doing some wedding stuff, doing, like friend stuff, shooting stuff on the side. And then so I kind of watched him for our first video, edited that, and then it was kind of just hit the ground running after that. I was like, this is pretty fun. I think I can figure out how to do this. And it just kind of fell in love with the camera stuff. I was like, hey, I'm going to be hunting no matter what.
Right.
Let's just take a camera
Yeah.
and start recording shit. That's kind of where it all.
And so
kind of
your first
birthed
film
from.
was Tamarack, right?
No,
or was-
first film was. I'm not
Your
surprised.
first full film was Tamarack.
Yeah, first full film was going to be Seeing It Through,
Okay.
which is the 2018 film with Patrick, and then Tamarack is the one that kind of really set the tone for us, if you will. Seeing It Through was like a 2-hour.
Oh yeah,
film.
you're right. Okay.
We came up to, you had the theater,
that
right?
was
Lincoln
Seeing
Theater?
It Through, the
Yep.
first one.
The first
Yeah.
time we had that
Okay.
theater was Seeing It Through, and that
'Cause I
was with the
can't-
four of us.
I came up
Yep.
and watched it. And
Yep.
Isn't that
was
the one where
awesome,
you guys
yeah.
whacked a bunch of you guys all tagged out?
Yep.
The
That's
meat pole, the
The meat
classic.
tree.
Yeah,
Yep,
the
the
meat tree.
classic
yeah.
meat
Before
tree.
wolves
Yeah.
moved into those areas?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know where those areas were. I forget where that was, but it was pretty cool. But that was our first big one.
Yeah.
That kind of I think people associate the Seeing It Through as PNWild. Like the high buck is really where we birthed that.
Yeah.
Lots of hate from that, but that's cool. We get that.
Well,
Why
was-
do you
what-
think? Why do you think people hate on it?
I think because they're just not good at reading regulations, and we exposed what the regulations say on a video. If that
Gotcha.
makes any sense.
Okay.
I'm being very facetious there.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
We exposed a hunt that didn't
haters
have a
gonna
lot
hate.
of and honestly, it didn't have a lot of popularity
Right.
back then. And I say back then, I learned it from Shane Vandergeesen. He's the one who told me about the high buck hunt.
Right.
And then a buddy at work told me about it, that he used to do it when it first started. I don't even know when it first came out. Are you guys aware with that? When it first came out?
The high buck?
The high buck hunt? Has it always been a thing?
It's been a thing
think
for
a
a long
long time,
time.
Yeah, I'm not sure when it originated,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's been around for a long time. It's not like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
something new and we're
Since,
the ones
like,
that
the 80s, I
spotlight it.
think.
Yeah. I think something crazy. It's been around for a long time.
Because you exposed a hunt that's been around for millions
Just
of years. so
not.
you got
It
a bunch of
wasn't
shit.
super popular.
Exactly. Yeah,
back
it didn't
then.
have a bunch. It was just kind of like the serious guys that wanted to go into the backcountry. And It's because it's wilderness only, and it's a special rifle season in the wilderness. It feels like taboo when you talk to somebody that's not from Washington about an over-the-counter rifle hunt for mule deer in September. They're like, "Is that a draw?" No, it's just over the counter.
Right.
Because it's like Wyoming and us, as far as I know, that have the only 15th of September opening date. That's
Right.
really early for a rifle.
Right.
Usually around the West, it's just archery all in September.
Right.
So when you talk about a rifle hunt in September, it's pretty what is that hunt again? It
Right.
catches people attention when you hear about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did that film, and that kind of really set the tone of what PNWild's going to be. And I think a lot of association, our biggest one, when we don't do high buck for a year, is always like, when are you guys going to do high buck? When are you going to do another high buck film? And that's why we kind of always come back to like Trophy last year.
Right.
Big plans, awesome adventure, cool trip, and we always step up the camera work and every time. But that one was kind of like a dud as far as like the harvesting went, but the adventure was an 11. Right? It was just an amazing trip. But it just kind of goes back to the seeing it through, and then Tamarack, and then character. Character kind of people forget about character. Character was a fun one. That was 2019 high buck, and then Trophy. So we've had 4 high buck films, and I think that's what kind of people associate the PNWild with, is just that high buck hunt film. And we get a lot of shit for it because we exposed and we ruined it, right? We ruined high buck.
I thought you were going to say because you shoot little deer.
We do shoot little deer. We do shoot little deer.
Hey, we all shoot little deer.
What's even?
Hey, when you need meat in the freezer, you gotta do what you gotta do.
That's right.
Oh, and it's hard to. That trigger finger gets itchy when you're looking at a 3-point
shit,
through,
yeah.
for the rifle scope. It's funnier and shit. This is a shout out to these boys. 2021 or 2020, I think, we get a message from some guy's wife, and it was like, "Hey, my husband doesn't have Instagram, but he wants to send you this buck because of you guys. He went into the wilderness first time and shot a deer, and he was really excited. Just wanted to say thanks for all you guys do, right?" And we open this picture up, and it's 2 buddies, arms around each other, grinning ear to ear, and a 217-inch mule deer.
No way.
Swear on my life. Swear on my life.
What?
Both wearing PNWild hats, and it was like, oh my God. And we read the message, it's like, yeah, it's his first deer.
Wow.
You're like, dude, just go home, get the
Don't
toaster.
even go in the woods again.
You know, like you're so excited for this guy, and
Yeah.
then you're just like,
Just quit, bro.
Dude.
I hate you right now.
what?
Yeah.
But yeah, fucking absolute just dick kicker. You know?
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, we go in there just like, oh, we're going to have a great year, film and everything. And
Right.
we shoot 100-inch deer, 90-inch deer.
Dude.
And then this guy, first time ever, dude, thanks for telling me. Like, that's awesome hunt,
Yeah.
dude. Shot a 217-inch buck.
Yeah, good for him. He'll
crazy.
never top it.
Yeah,
know.
and the story was just incredible, too. Like, it was just the classic shit show Western. They went down, like, way up in a burn, looking down on this big swamp. And they were just, like, getting their tails kicked, haven't seen a deer. I'm going to go down and fill up water at this swamp. Get down to this big swampy bottom. I'm not talking like creek.
Right.
It's like a swamp. Like not. I've seen the pictures and stuff. Go down and fill up some water. They get down to the water and they see something moving like 60 yards. They kicked up a buck that was bedded down there. One guy pulls up, tries to. This is where I kind of get hairy. I don't know if he tried to shoot or didn't have a shot for like several seconds.
Right.
And the buddy's like, "You haven't shot ones yet, so I'm gonna let you shoot it. Go ahead, shoot your first deer. Shoot your first deer. Shoot your first deer." Ended up not being able to. The other guy pulls up, shoots it. Like shoots it from underneath his
Right.
friend. You know, I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and you guys didn't kill each other? Like,
Right.
like
Oh,
you
dude.
didn't kill him over that deer?
Yeah.
Fisticuffs.
But yeah, ended up first ever high buck, first mule deer, just
Really?
smashing the
217.
buck. Yeah. Yep, 217 buck. So they're out there, boys.
Yeah, they're
out there.
they're definitely out there.
Yeah, crazy.
It wasn't that there was we saw what was it 100 and oh no that was a 200-inch deer that was shot this year.
204.
Yeah, and that
I
was
saw a bunch of pictures. I had a buddy who
out
had
of Washington.
I had a governor's tag, and so I think he just likes to be in the woods more than he does like pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
So he sent me a bunch of pictures. Dude, there was some nice bucks.
We have them. We have them.
Oh, yeah, they're
Every
here.
year you hear of a buck that goes over 200 that comes
Yeah.
out of Washington. Yeah, they're not as common as Wyoming.
Yeah.
Like you look at Wyoming Region H 2024 and you got, I don't know, probably 10 to 20 bucks that went over 180, 190 that I didn't even know of, right? That's a hit social media.
Right.
And then Washington, you're like, yeah, I heard of a 200 getting taken this year.
So,
Yeah.
PNWild.
Yes, sir.
I told my daughter that.
Yeah.
She said, "Dad, that's a bad word."
Going peeing in the wild.
I said, PNWild. She goes, "Dad, don't say that. That's gross." I said, "No, PNWild.
Yep.
Pacific North Wild."
I sat at work trying to figure out a name for days.
Really?
Yeah.
I was curious how you came up with it.
Yeah. And so
I haven't heard this story.
me and Bobby were at, so Bobby's been there since the beginning but didn't want to be a part of it until
Why didn't you want to be a part of it?
I don't know. I don't know if he wanted to commit to the time that I was trying to put in. I don't know. I'd have to ask Bob that question. Why didn't you want to commit in the beginning?
He's the softest hard guy now.
Yep. Yep. Handsome fucker.
Oh, so dude,
Handsome fucker.
that stash.
Yeah. Great dude. You. Yep. Loyal friend.
Yeah.
Great fucker.
Great dude. I'm not gonna
Great
lie.
guy.
I've known Bob for a while.
Yep.
I think I like him more than I like you.
Yeah.
What? Jeez. Way to butter a guy up,
You know?
Chris.
I'm
Holy
just saying.
moly.
He's a good dude.
Hey, you got to tell the truth, and
He's
that's
a good dude.
he's a great guy. Love that
This
guy.
is gonna be the best podcast.
This
ever.
can be good.
He's so
Yeah.
fit now too.
You guys think I could take him? You think I could take him?
Chris? Oh, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
for
He's-
sure,
Dude,
right?
he's all bolted together, dude.
dude, I'm just like
He's all bark, no bite.
yeah.
I'm like warm pudding, dude.
He's
Warm
like,
pudding.
"Bam, bam,
Yeah.
bam."
No. Yeah. No contest.
I think I got you.
Easy peasy.
I think I got you. No
I
problem.
love me some Bob though.
Yeah, Bob's. Yeah, me too.
So
Me
you
too.
work because you guys work together, right?
Yep, we met at Boeing. We've been working together since 2010, and that's where I met him. And then 2011, 12 rolls by, and then I start getting into hunting. I didn't get into hunting until 2011.
Okay.
Shot my first deer in 2011. And then I knew he would, like, I kind of knew a Bob, like, we're the younger guys on the crew, and we started talking about hunting one day, and I was like, yeah, I shot my first deer, and showing pictures, and he's like, oh, sweet, man, I shot a blacktail a couple years ago. I've never been over to the east side, I'd like to go, and I was like, well, let's go bear hunting. Like, I'm looking in the regs and stuff. I'm on Hunt Washington forum. So that's where I kind of, like,
crash
started
their
and
site.
was like,
That'd
hey,
be
let's
hilarious.
go back to the Bob story. I was like, hey, let's go, like, bear hunting.
Yeah.
And me and Bob jumped in the truck one Saturday morning from Arlington, drove over to a small town in eastern Washington, and by noon we shot a bear. Never hunted a bear in my life. It crossed the road in front of us. We jumped out and both shot it.
Classic.
Classic.
Nice.
And then I was like, we
Yeah.
just become best friends.
Yeah.
It was like, yep, we sure did. We
Karate in the garage. Let's do
we
it.
drank Coors Light and skinned a bear that we. And it was like the first time ever hunting together. The first time I've ever had a bear tag. First time I've ever targeted bears.
Right.
Kind of like you were talking about, like him getting lucky in Montana. Lucky, right? It was just like stars aligned, and it was
Yeah.
like, what? I've never even done this before. We just shot a bear.
Bear hunting is super easy.
Yeah, I was like, these fucking guys, this shit's easy.
The funny thing you say, the stars align. This has been his whole life. The stars have aligned. I shit you not.
Hey, I'd rather be
called
lucky than
skill,
good.
Doug.
I'd rather be lucky than good anytime.
Yeah.
For sure. And it just, happened. Bear ran across the road. We went down the road half a mile, jumped out with both rifles. We're in fucking Romeos and Walmart shit.
Classic.
And we walk down a road, quarter of a mile. This is a gravel road, not a paved road. We, of course, get off the road and shoot this bear.
Of course.
Of course. Yeah.
If you're listening, get
Yeah.
one.
Smoke this
500
bear.
yards and
Yeah. Yep.
Gravel road. You can shoot from a gravel road.
You can. You can. RCW, you don't have to get off the road. In Washington, Montana, you have to be, was it 10 yards off the road or something? 10 yards from the ditch?
I can't.
I think there's an
read that.
actual
It's only-
rule
it's only-
in the books.
It's only like a maintained highway.
Yeah.
I believe.
In
have
Washington,
to
you
be
can shoot
25
from
feet.
a fucking highway as long as the sheriff doesn't deem it that it's negligible discharge. I've double checked for some reasons.
Well,
Okay,
I'm not
PN,
going. We're not lawyers, people.
PN Wild Wild West.
So they say.
You heard it here. Jeff said it first. Breaking news.
Of course, I was checking for grouse purposes. Like if there's a grouse in a tree above
Yeah.
a road, I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Can I shoot that legally?" Because I would do that prior to shooting it.
Yeah,
And I would check the internet regulations
Yeah.
prior to shooting any kind of animal.
yeah.
So I would do that anytime before you shoot
Yeah.
something.
100%.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Check your local legislature.
Yeah. So
Laws are always changing. Keep up with those game regs, folks.
yeah, they're always changing. Be on top of your regulations.
gosh.
Know what you can and cannot do.
So you
And
shot the
give
bear,
time.
Bob shot the bear.
Well,
We both.
Or did you guys do the 1, 2, 3 shoot? Or did you guys just go? We're both jumping out and shooting.
well, party shooting is illegal, so you can't do that.
Right.
So one of us definitely shot it. I just can't remember which one of it was.
So 2 boys, 1 bear. Okay.
No, that's illegal in Washington State. Party hunting is illegal.
Right. Yeah.
So I think one of us really for sure shot.
Gotcha. Okay. Allegedly. All right. Heard ya.
Oh boy.
Who mounted it?
I guess the question's who tagged the bear.
Who mounted it? I just want to know where's it at. I want to see it.
This is that's neither here nor there, Chris.
Okay.
The bear was dead.
Okay.
We ended up having a great time.
Yeah.
And we killed one of us killed a great bear.
Karate in the garage.
Karate in the garage.
One bear.
Best friends forever.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we went down to this old bar burger joint called Antlers. It's no longer there. If you know where it's at, shout out. You know
Yeah.
where it's at.
Yeah.
Great bar, great place.
It's not there anymore?
It's not there anymore.
You're kidding me.
Nope,
No.
swear to God, it's not there.
It's been a while.
Really?
It's been gone since.
Where is it?
Only
in
only
a town
people, yeah.
we will not speak
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
I didn't
But it's
know
gone. Yeah.
If you know, you know.
If you
I've
know,
been
you
over
know.
in a while, obviously.
Cool place. Cool
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
So we went down there and we got married and it was a great time. Rode off into the sunset. And then, 4 years later is when I started Pacific North Wild.
And how did so back to the coming up with the name? So you're
Yeah.
at work,
Yep.
burning up company time.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
As every
Yeah.
Boeing employee does.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
you're
just
like-
racking your brain. Just like,
Yeah.
And
for
this is
days.
before AI, so you can't even like
For sure.
cheat.
Yeah. And I knew I wanted to do it. And I went to, so what started was in 2015, I went to a full draw film tour. And it was down in Olympia because they weren't coming up north yet. And I was like, hey, I'm kind of like really into this hunting thing. And I was like, I want to go to a show. And I saw them get promoted on Instagram. And Cody Kellum at the time was running Full Draw Film Tour. He was the owner of it. And he's also involved with Born and Raised Outdoors. And so I saw them, watched them. He promoted Full Draw Film Tour. I was like, hey, I'm going to go down to the show in Olympia. They run a movie theater. They play like 6-7 bow hunting films. And it was just like really fun. Give away a bow and that kind of shit. So I go down there and Cody's at the front door. You know, I'm like, hey, Cody, that's really cool. I follow that guy on Instagram. He's a born and raised guy.
Yeah.
Really go inside the door. And I'm just like watching these bow hunting films on the big screen. And they were just like, I don't want to say nobodies, but it was just like, it wasn't Outdoor Channel,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah.
these big corporations that are Real Tree, something like that, putting on these professional films.
Yeah.
It was guys like us toting around a camera, killing an elk or a deer or something like that, and then just editing a film.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there in the stands and like, I want to do this. Like, I really want to do this. And so the next year comes by, I leave that, next year goes by, and the hunting season comes up and goes, and I was like, man, I should have got a GoPro or something like that so I could start doing this. But I was like, I need a platform to start posting pictures. I need a platform to start posting videos or whatever it is. And I just had my personal Instagram and stuff, and I was like, I'm not going to put it on there because I don't want, for whatever reason, I don't want it on there. So I was thinking of like a platform. I was like, I'm going to start it. 2016 is going to happen. I drew a quality elk hunt in Washington. So that's really what started this. So I drew
2016 you did?
2016. I drew my quality archery elk hunt.
Eat shit, dude.
I
Yep.
saw that film. By
I got like
Yeah.
I got 137,000 points in Washington State.
Right.
Never been drawn for quality elk. Dad.
no,
Yeah.
I'm up to 20 points now.
Yeah.
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 I drew with 14.
Oh,
So I had 14 points in 2016, and I drew it. And-
Really?
yeah. And then so this is a funny story about meeting Zach. On Hunt Washington Forum, prior to all that posting and censoring and all that bullshit, I was on there as just a regular user, Roberts JD, and I saw this kid, Zach kid at the time. Zach, he's
Yeah.
older than me. Saw Zach on there, and he's like, hey guys, anybody put in for this unit? And I was like, well, I put in for that unit and I had 14 points. I messaged him and he's like, I had 14 points too. And I was applying for that unit. And it's the only unit. He's like, do you want to go scout it if one of us draws? And I was like, sure. At this point, the only hunting partner I had was Bob, who was like questionable at best, right?
Right.
Didn't really want to commit time to it. Kind of on the edge of being serious about hunting. I was in a relationship that was kind of new. He's more into that relationship where if you have a girlfriend, a serious girlfriend, you have obligations, right? Can't really escape. I was with Janie at the time, but for a year and a half, 2 years. So it's kind of like I can still go do what I want.
No babies
No
yet.
kids yet. Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of shit. And so I ended up talking to Zach.
Met a random man on the internet in a forum.
It gets better.
Let's meet in the woods.
It
Let's
gets
be
Yeah.
let's meet in the
it
woods.
Sounds
gets-
great.
It
Sounds
gets
like
better. Yeah.
love everlasting.
Yeah. Fast forward to results come out June of 2016. Results come out. I drew and he didn't. By this time we're texting and I'm like, dude, I drew the tag. Did you want to go scout and shit? And he's like, yeah, I've been hunting it for a couple years. We can go hit one of my spots and then we can go hang some cameras in one of your spots. And I was like, sweet. How does next weekend sound? And it was like late June. He's like, perfect, man. I'll meet you. How do you want to do this? And I was like, how about the Safeway parking lot, and I'll meet you there.
Back alley.
In the back alley at 5 o'clock. And sure enough, I roll up to the Safeway. He's already sitting there. He's like, hey, I drive the red Dodge with a canopy. Pull up right next to him. And it was just like right off the bat. He threw his shit in the back of the truck, and we were off and running. Didn't know this guy, and like never met him in my life. He's in my passenger seat, and we're going east to go scout for elk.
Dude, that's wild.
Wild. And
Super wild.
on the way over, like as I'm sizing him up, right? We're pretty similar to size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets in my truck and shit, and we're talking and making conversation. And I'm just like, yeah, so I carry this 44 all the time
Right.
for bear protection. You know, and so I just
Yeah.
like, we talked about
keep
that.
it right here next to me. as
Yeah,
well.
I keep it right here in case any shit happens. You know, on the road.
protection.
Yeah.
Bear protection.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he's like, oh yeah, I don't carry one and shit, but I was like, all right, he knows I have a gun and shit. And I was like, And then so we go into this. We're in this little town over in Eastern Washington, and I go in and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna get some beers for tonight. What kind of beer do you drink?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't drink beer." And I was like, "Oh shit,
You're like,
this guy doesn't drink beer."
He's
I don't know if we're
he's
gonna
like-
get along.
He's like some rosé.
Yeah, he's like, I don't drink anything. And I was like, okay, this is a little weird. I've never met a guy like my age.
Yeah.
I didn't know sober people existed at this point, right? Like I was just like
20.
I was in 2016. I was probably 22, 23.
Oh god.
So I was
dude.
youngin'.
You're like a baby.
Yeah, baby.
And
Yeah.
he's the same age, right?
No, he's 36 right now, currently. So back then he was probably 25, 26. He's only
Okay.
3-4 years older than me or something like that.
Oh god, old gross.
Yeah, he's old.
Disgusting.
Yeah, exactly. So we ended up
We're all older,
going
older
off
than-
into
actually,
the
that's about your age,
friggin' elk woods, hanging cameras, and like that whole time, I'm like, as we're meeting and talking and actually scouting, because we scouted like every weekend until my season opened, and he would go in without me, check my cameras. He was like just dedicated, and I could see it. I was like, "Fuck, this guy's awesome." He wants to be doing it, wants to be in the woods,
Yeah.
and just like super dedicated to being outside. And I was like, I think we could do something. So I ended up on my like that whole scouting season. I'm
Yeah.
like, wheels are turning. I'm like, this could be the tag that we film and we do something with.
Yeah.
And
So
he was
like your technically your introduction
Yep.
of PNWild.
was that right there.
Okay.
Yep. That was the like cherry pop of PNWild, was that whole off season into the actual elk hunt. And then that was our first ever video. It's called Selected. It's my archery quality elk hunt in
So
Washington.
before you like when was like the hey, we're starting a company. Do you want to do this? We're gonna make a film. It's gonna be called PNWild.
Yep. That was, I would guess it was like September of 16 is when like we were, hey, we're all going to carry cameras on my elk hunt and we're
Yeah.
going to film some shit for a purpose of a video.
Yeah.
And it was like that whole preparation, that whole off season leading into archery elk hunting or archery elk season of 2016.
Right.
And I just can't recall the exact time, like when I made the page and started posting.
You were off the road. It was totally legal when you pulled the trigger. One guy was shooting.
Yep.
Totally understand.
For sure. Yep. Yep.
Proceed.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was it was fun, man. Like just looking back on it. Bobby ended up coming on that hunt for the first weekend. And so my tag opens on a Saturday, like
Yeah.
Washington just does that. Saturday morning, I arrowed like a 320 bull first morning.
Dang.
Opening morning, arrowed him, shot him twice, never found him.
Oh,
Next morning, we're
You
in there.
suck, bro.
I know, man. Fucking horrible. Next morning, we're in there
I
looking.
hate archery.
Have you ever watched it?
I hate. Lots of times.
Yeah.
My favorite. It's my favorite.
I
show.
I
What's your
remember
favorite episode?
watching.
Why'd you
Okay,
ask?
he hasn't even watched any of our videos,
Yeah.
so why does it matter?
I don't. I don't watch any of our own stuff.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Next morning, Bobby shoots a cow looking for my elk. Like we were all looking for my elk going back the next morning.
Yeah.
Bobby shoots a cow. Ended up having to pack that thing out like fucking 9 miles. So that day was wasted. Next day, Bobby leaves. So super dedicated, right?
Yeah.
So we ended up,
Strong work, Bob.
strong work.
Jeez,
We
Bob.
call that a smash and grab.
Yeah.
Goes in, smash and grabs. No,
Yeah.
like, whatever. No harm, no foul. Me and Zach are there until the end of it. Zach ends up leaving, like, on a Thursday. Something ended up happening. I'm there by myself Thursday, Friday. Zach rolls back into town on Saturday night. Sunday night, I end up shooting my bull. No, Sunday morning, Zach ends up shooting a spike, over-the-counter spike.
Nice.
And then we pack that all the way back to main camp. And then that night we go out, I shoot my bull. So we ended up shooting 2 bulls in the same night, archery equipment.
Wow.
And then so we ended up going 3 for 3 on like archery elk in Washington. 2 over-the-counter elk, 1 quality elk. And it was like, fuck, that was a special trip. Like looking back on it,
You'd
doing
be
archery
hard-pressed to do that
Yeah,
now.
like to do that
Yeah.
now is just
Yeah.
like super tough.
Yeah.
And so like looking back, we had all of it's on film. Kill shots are on film. It was like, God,
Really?
we got lucky on that. Like we can't do that shit now. And
Yeah.
I got way better equipment and we're way more dedicated.
Right.
So it's like stars align type of shit. And it was
Yeah.
just like paved the way for like, okay, this is it. We're going to send it. And that film came out. It was great. Ended up kind of starting PNWild on
And
that.
you edited all that.
Yep. I edited that with my buddy Brian's tutelage.
Okay.
And he was like that guy that was doing like the senior pictures through high school and doing a little bit of weddings and stuff.
You're doing
like,
the
on
YouTube
side.
University.
Yep, YouTube University is where
Okay.
I kind of like.
Yeah.
But that is the starting point of I need to learn this because I can't be going over my friend Brian's house,
Right.
Yeah.
asking how to do this.
But you didn't go to
every time.
college or anything for like.
Nope.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Nothing like that. I just all
You can learn
self-taught.
just about anything on YouTube nowadays.
You can, and there's
Pretty
like
crazy.
a lot of like content creators that are really good at showing and teaching, and I've like just fell in love with all those guys.
It's
just, like, watching
unbelievable
them.
how much content is on YouTube
An old
to
Mexican
learn how to
man.
make content.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's,
No.
Yeah.
it's-
mind-boggling.
Yeah.
This is a true story. I started my gun shop from an old Mexican man in Florida.
What?
I swear to God, it's a true story.
Mexican man
An
in
old Mexican
Florida?
man in Florida. Yeah. Swear to God.
How
Swore-
did
How did
that happen?
How did he get to Mexico
Did you see
from Florida?
some YouTube video or something?
Yeah, I was like, how to build a gun. I had no idea.
That's cool.
And Suarez Taxel, this old Mexican dude, and he's like, "This is how this is how you cut a tendon. This is how you measure stuff. This is how you headspace. This is how you cut a chamber." And I'm like, and I go back from the shop
Were you just
to my
like
computer.
bored and you're like, oh, I'm gonna learn something today? On
No, I was just
YouTube."
like,
No, he was dedicated. He wanted
I
to
wanted
know.
I wanted to build guns, and I didn't know how to do it. So
See
I
one on
don't have the
YouTube.
patience to edit though. I could build a gun like a son of a gun, but man,
When I first
Editing.
like sat down,
That's
with,
what I'm for, Chris.
it takes a total different type of patience too. I sat down to edit like I ended all my footage first time, and then like imported it into the computer, and then brought it into Premiere Pro. And I remember just like sitting there looking at my screen for like 5 minutes. I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And it was like, are we really going to do this? We're going to go down this path. And I remember just like alt-tabbing out to YouTube, and it was like how to set up a timeline for sequences and how to identify if it's 120p. Like, what I didn't know what to record anything in.
Right.
I just grabbed a camera.
Yeah.
And then after that season, that first season, just a little bit more backstep. After that season of Selected, that film, 2016, that Christmas, I remember like asking my mom, like my parents always get me like cool Christmas presents.
right,
And I was like, hey, Mom, Dad, I don't want any presents this year. If you could just help me pay for this camera,
right,
like give me a couple $100 towards this camera. We'll just call it cool. And same thing with my brother. Me and my
Yeah.
brother have always done like cool Christmas presents for each other. Like one year, me and my brother bought each other guns. Like, so we've done pretty cool shit.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and like same thing for my dad. My parents have always done like pretty cool shit
Yeah,
for us for Christmas. And I was like, hey, group text, hey guys, really want a camera. It's like $2,000, but if you guys could just throw a couple $100, whatever you can towards
Yeah.
that camera for Christmas, that'd be awesome. And it was like, cool, Christmas morning, I get like $800 cash from each one of them. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to go get a camera. And that's really what fucking said it all. Like,
really.
yeah, I was young, just bought my first house, couldn't afford a camera
Right.
like by myself.
Yeah.
And then let alone like getting into all these like music software programs. Like it's unreal. Premiere Pro's $80 a month. Music programs that I download all my music from are $37 to $150. Lens distortions for all my kind of like sound effects and stuff like that's $200. It's like
Huh.
I don't know how does anybody afford this shit that's just kind of like getting into it.
Right.
But it's ridiculous. So I
It's-
couldn't do
It's
it.
not cheap.
No.
sure.
And then talking about SD cards, like you were just talking about
Yeah.
SD cards prior to recording, and then computers. If you have big camera, you need big computer.
Right.
You have really big, like data grabbing 124K cameras.
Right.
No one talks about the computer you have to edit this shit.
Right.
You can't just grab a Walmart laptop for $180 and think
Yeah.
you're going to edit 4K on it. You'll smash your windows before you get done with a half hour of editing. It all adds up.
I
So
know
you
your
need-
pain.
Yeah, and you don't know this until you get into it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then so you're like, okay, I got the camera, I can breathe.
Yeah.
No. Now you need a fucking camera now you need a computer that's
Yeah.
3 times more than your camera cost.
Right.
And then your one battery is $85 because Canon's fucking stupid for some reason.
Right.
And then your SD cards are $450 because now I have a CF Express Type B card. For a 1 terabyte card, it's $500.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
need 12 of those. And you need 30 batteries for a Wyoming backcountry trip on llamas. So everything just stacks up. It gets ridiculous.
So you can't just be touched by the tism. You got to.
We're not even there
You got to be
yet.
strangled by it. So you're deep on the spectrum.
He's
I'm
deep.
deep. Yeah.
He's
I'm
super deep on the spectrum.
And then we haven't even talked lenses yet. Lenses are
Yeah.
ridiculous.
yeah.
Yeah, you just,
We have one lens.
That's where my dad is. Like,
Yeah.
my dad retired, and he's basically this is what he's picked up is photography.
Cool.
He's got 4 different cameras, I think 4 or 5 different lenses. Right? I mean, he's got like a cheaper lens,
Yeah.
in like the $3,000 range. I mean, you can get a big like what is it like 600
millimeter prime.
yeah,
Yeah.
for like $15,000.
They're like 18 grand. For
Yeah.
I was watching some of your videos, and you had one that came out, and you were talking about camera stuff, or maybe it was a podcast. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But I got like 3 seconds, and I was like, nope,
Nope, not into this.
not for me.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's real life though. And
Dude.
then like getting into like you just got to immerse yourself
Yeah.
because you have to be like if you want to try to push everything. Like
Right.
I want to try to push everything, especially our quality
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And then sound's another fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like that's ridiculous too. But lenses and cameras and computers and editing software and music and it's just a. It's
I
been
think
it's
it
been really
stacks up.
fun, but
Well, then you got like companies like Gritty that
Yeah.
are pushing the freaking envelope on everything, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
well, how do we get there?
Yep.
Right.
Like, and then
Exactly.
you got to like really push to get up to that level.
100%.
Well, think about it. That guy's probably been doing it for 30 years.
He's been doing it a long time.
Yeah.
but
You know.
like they put out a ton of films.
I do feel like a lot of your guys' stuff, you have been so successful is because your content is of a quality that it looks like you hire someone professional to do it because you do all that stuff, right?
yep.
Yeah, and it looks really, really good.
Thank you.
You know, like your pictures are really good, your editing's really good.
Thank you.
And anyone who's sat behind, like I was telling these guys, so back in the day, I got a couple days on you. Right?
Yeah, just a few.
So I honestly probably have every animal in here on film, on like cassette. I'm not joking, like a cassette tape, right? I used
That's
to have
how
like
we used to do it.
pop open handy cams, and I filmed everything.
Like on the VHS recording? shit?
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
I got a bunch of VHS
I didn't
I-
know that.
too.
Yeah,
Well,
I
you
filmed
know-
everything.
Well, you can digitize that, right? My dad did.
Yeah.
And he's way older than you.
On that selected film
You saw
that we're
barely
talking about.
You saw barely a movie, right?
No, I haven't seen it yet. Oh man, you never showed it to me.
We'll go.
I feel
You
We'll
said
go.
I wasn't far enough on the spectrum. You wanted to kick
Next
me
time
out.
we go-
That's
the
the whole reason why we started Bear Country Outdoors.
But yeah, so I had killed a million things, but then like, what do you do with the footage? You know,
Edit it.
You got to know how to edit. Well, I don't have the patience for it. You know, like 3 minutes. I'm a hammer, dude. I'm not a finish nail. I'm a hammer. I'm a big hammer.
When you're pressing fast forward and pause to like do your editing, that's
Yeah,
when you know
that's
it's
how they
really
used to
old.
do it.
That's how my dad was telling me. That's how you pause, stop, fast forward.
It's above me.
Yeah,
It's above my pay grade.
yeah, pretty
Yeah.
wild.
There was no Adobe Premiere.
No.
There was
Yeah.
no editing
No,
programs.
it's
There's
in
no,
it's in the VHS, like pressing the play and
Yeah.
fast forward button.
Yeah,
like
so-
back
How
Yeah.
did
and
they
forth.
put music on shit back then?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
really don't know.
I don't know.
Get someone to play a fiddle in the background?
You have someone ding 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 ding. Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know.
So fast forward, you start PNWild.
Yeah.
It's just you and
Zach.
Zach,
Yep.
and then Bob decides to join when?
After seeing it through.
Okay.
Yeah, so a couple years, like, so 2017 is when that selected film came out.
Okay.
And then we went through all 2017 season, capturing content, getting GoPros, kind of upgrading cameras and learning more of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went from a APS-C sensor to a full frame sensor because I was kind of getting into it more. So I got a full frame sensor with better autofocus, that kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm really going to do better now.
Right.
And then I kind of focused on pictures because Instagram was really, really like picture heavy. Back then.
Yeah.
And it mattered. Like
Yeah.
if you had cool pictures and shit, you're going to gain followers.
You guys you got a bunch of followers.
Like quick.
Yeah.
And now it's just been stagnant because YouTube algorithm, I really do think, punishes like hunting in our community.
100%.
And if you're not in the real game or the shorts game, then
Yeah.
you're kind of just like, you're not going to make it.
Thanks, Meta.
Yeah, fucking sucks. It really does.
Yeah.
Back when Instagram was like picture heavy is really when we saw our growth because we had cool pictures and I really focused on taking
Yeah.
cool pictures and photography.
Yeah.
And then once I realized that like, hey, Zach, Bobby, and when Patrick was involved,
Yeah.
he was like, hey, I'll just be the camera guy for filming and you focus on pictures.
Right.
And that's where I really found like still to this day, my passion is pictures. Like I really do love taking pictures and trying to get creative with pictures throughout the hunt and all sorts of stuff. So
You
I
have
would
some
rather
really
just-
good snow pictures.
I love snow.
Some good snow pictures.
Love snow
yeah,
pictures,
good
yeah.
snow pictures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
snow is really cool, and like waterfowl is really fun for me to photograph too, because I think waterfowl is just like so dramatic, and you just get like different colors and weather and cold, and you could tell. And I don't know, I just really like taking waterfowl stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But fast forward, like talking about photography versus videography, like I would rather just be out there taking pictures, but it's not what is going to pay the bills, quote unquote, right? So you got to be taking video and stuff. And I've found myself drifting more into video where I'll be like, hey, go back there. And that kind of like ruins the moment too. If it's like, hey, Chris, go back in that creek and do what you just did.
Re-kiss Doug.
Yeah, re-kiss Doug. I got pictures of that, but now I want video of it.
Yeah.
And then you do it again, and I'm like, you got to do it one more time because now I need 120.
Yeah.
Right? So that kind of shit kind of gets annoying with the video work. So you got to be kind of like preemptive about it and be like, okay, this is going to be a sick shot when it gets to the top, and I'm going to have to stand here. So I'll have to run up in front of Bob, and Bobby's a fucking gazelle. So I have to run to get in front of that fucker.
Guy's an
and
animal,
then
dude.
He is.
Yeah, he is.
Really good shape.
Yeah,
so
if you want to
I'll
get the good moments, you got to be like ready for the moments
You
as
gotta
they're
be-
happening.
You got to be working.
Yeah.
You got to be ready for them before they know that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. And so, like, when you're really checked in and you're like on that, like when you're clocked in and you're working, it just requires a lot more for video. Like, you can get lucky and just like hit the button and get some cool shit. But if you want to make like a film or something like that, you got to be working the whole time. And honest to God, sometimes it just like kind of sucks.
Yeah.
You know, like I want to enjoy hunting.
We talk about it all the time, and there's reasons why a lot of our hunts we just don't even film anymore. Like we started out filming a lot, and then it kind of got to a point where we're like, I just want this hunt to be for me to hunt.
Yep.
Because it kind of wears you out a little bit. Sometimes it takes the moments out of it, like
does.
the enjoyment, you know. And
I know exactly what you're talking about. It feels
Yeah.
like working and hunting is our passion, number one.
Yeah.
Like that's our like what we really enjoy to do, and we're out there because we want
not
to do
gonna
it.
say anything.
And then when you start filming, it does take some of that away.
And it's,
It feels like work.
I think it's hard, especially when you self-film, it's exponentially worse.
You guys
So-
just suck at it.
Well,
That's self-filming? Oh, dude, we're
You
great at
guys
it.
suck at filming, period.
I'm great with the camera. When I like,
That's why I'm sitting over here laughing because you guys are fucking awesome.
I have so many excellent. I bet you I have 100 kill shots on film. When
That's
we used to
insane.
film together,
Where are all these at?
up in my office.
Dude, like Doug said, you should digitize that shit and release
No,
it.
we have. I've like. I mean, this is nothing. Like, I've killed way more animals than this. And then Travis, my hunting buddy, my main hunting buddy back in the day, dude, he's killed 10 times more animals than I have. He's like James with like my bears versus James bears. James has killed 100 times more bears than I have. And these were the guys I was hanging out with. My other buddy Jed Torp, he's passed away now, but like, dude, I bet you he killed 150 deer, big bucks, big bucks. The same with elk, like multiple 350 pulls in Washington State.
Damn.
All on film. You know, out flinging arrows, muzzleloader, rifle,
Just never saw the light of day.
everything. Yeah, no, I mean, it's like because I don't know how to edit. So I'm a good cameraman because I'm a hunter, right? So
Yeah.
that's a mark of a cameraman. Is if you're a good hunter, you know where to be, you know how to be quiet,
Yep.
you know where the elk are going to be.
That was my selling point.
Yeah, and so you need
Especially
someone.
with camera guys, it's like they don't exactly know where they need to be at that
Yeah.
exact moment, and that's the whole key to getting
Yeah, because you
what
guys
you
probably
want on a
never had to
camera.
hire camera guys before, right? So
This year
we've-
was our first year we did. When we
Okay.
couldn't. It's always been like me or Zach or Bob
Yeah.
carrying the camera.
Yeah.
But this year we drew so many tags, which is awesome. And we were finally in a position, like financially, we're like, hey, I can't go because I just burned all my time. Bobby went through that huge strike and was out of work, so
Right.
had to go back to work.
Right.
And was like, Zach drew this once in a life, not a once in a life. He drew a really good tag in Idaho, which is
Right.
it's anyone's year, anytime, so it's not a once in a lifetime. But it's a really good elk tag in Idaho. And we're like, well, I just burned all my vacation for my my Washington whitetail tag. Bobby just got done with strike, has to go back to work. What are we going to do for Zach on his 10-day elk hunt? And I was like, well, we did have this camera guy throughout the whole year. Colin lives in Ellensburg. We just went through film school in Ellensburg.
Young kid, right?
Young kid, yep.
Yeah.
And he was like, I was like, Zach, you should mention to him if you can get the time off from work and school to go to Idaho with you. And he was like, let me check in. And he's like, yep, I can go. So we ended up sending him, paying him. He filmed it, did all the editing too. And it was like, okay, this is sweet. So now it's going to be something for 2025 where I'm stacked up on big films, like my projects are Wyoming and then my whitetail hunt. And then I'm doing like the recent duck hunting stuff that we're doing right now. So I'm doing all that editing. And then it's like, hey, Colin, on these weeks that I'm busy doing these big hunts, can you do like boot reviews? Can you do our review stuff?
Right.
And we're just feeding that kid, and he's going to pump out a bunch of editing. So for 2025, you're going to see more mixed bag stuff from me editing and Colin editing too.
Okay.
Yeah. So it worked out pretty cool for us.
Nice.
Yeah. We made a post on Instagram or a podcast, and we were just like, hey, is there anybody out there that wants to do some editing for us? Part-time, maybe do some, super simple reviews, maybe work their way towards a film for us.
Right.
And, send me a clip of what you've edited, and we'll go from there.
Right.
And Colin fired right away. Next morning we had a message in our email. He goes, hey, I heard your message on the podcast or Instagram. I can't remember what it was. And he was like, hey, heard that. Here, I'm in film school. This is my information. Blah, 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 blah. Here's a little clip I made for film school that I just released. Open it up. First thing I see is hunting. And I was like, oh, this kid gets us.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I had no idea. Could have been some kid in Bellevue.
Right.
No
Right.
idea.
Yeah.
Right? It could have been anything.
Yeah.
And it was just, obviously, if you listen to our podcast, he probably gets it.
Yeah.
But it was like, open this thing up, and it's shooting from a tripod with like camo on and a sick rifle, and it was like super sick shots. Immediately I was like, I want to know more about this kid. Called him on the phone, we had a conversation, and I was like, sweet, I'll send you some footage and edit it up, see what happens. I sent him some footage from just like a studio review of something I did in the studio, and he banged it out like the next day, and we ended up on like hiring him right away.
That's awesome.
Worked out really good for us.
Yeah.
And just to have that extra, like, are you the editor?
Yeah.
You do everything?
Well,
That's it.
Doug's done a lot of the episode stuff. We've had
There's a couple
multiple
episodes
camera guys that we've used,
multiple camera guys,
and editors, and
So if you're a kid in film school, reach out to Bear Country. Drop us an email.
drop us an email because we definitely need
Yeah.
some help.
Well,
sometimes
the thing is, we have so much.
because you can only do so much.
We have so much content. Like, so I hired a guy to follow me around.
Camera guy?
He was a professional hunter in South Africa, right? So he's like, I've filmed before, but he's a hunter, like professionally. That's what he does as a job. I'm like,
he's a PH.
yeah. So I'm like, absolutely, dude. So me and my dad hop on a plane, go to South Africa. I hired this guy sight unseen from my PH, saying, oh yeah, he's good. He's got a camera. I bring James's camera. I bring some GoPros. I film 100+ hours. I mean, I'm there for a month, so like, well over 100 hours, probably 200 hours.
probably easily.
I don't
know how much you guys got, but it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It was a lot
so
of cards.
I'm just like, yeah, it's a lot of cards.
Did you ever tell him how many animals you killed?
There's a couple.
Where's all this footage?
No.
That's insane.
I killed a lot of shit.
So like hippo, crocodile.
Yeah, but like I killed a hippo. My dad killed a hippo. My dad killed a crocodile. I killed a crocodile. Like,
And then
and then like
So bottom line, where's all that fucking footage?
so
Is it getting edited?
yeah.
It's getting edited
So we
into a
hunted
film right now.
that's gonna be our next film.
yeah. So we
It's
meet.
going to be a
with-
film, not
yeah,
episodes.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
So we meet with this guy and like Clint. I'm like, I never.
There'll
met him
probably
before.
be episodes rolling off of it too.
Yeah, and
because
he's
there's
like-
going to be so much.
And he's
And
like, let's go
that's
through
always
it
a
and figure it
battle,
out.
too.
Yeah.
Like film versus episodes.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you do?
There's just a lot of footage, dude.
Yeah,
It's a
and
lot.
that might seem like it might be better for episodic.
Yeah, I don't know.
You might get crank out more views. We're talking YouTube hat,
Yeah.
right? Like YouTube hat, if you put all that effort into one film and then that one doesn't perform well, like you could do 30 episodes and you could have some that is spike and
Yeah.
then just like carry the whole group.
Right.
Right? Like, so that's, I would go through that battle too.
I think we were thinking.
And
like,
the other thing is also Africa just doesn't do that great.
Yeah. It's just so taboo.
no,
Yeah.
but there is certain Africa
Certain
channels
animals
that do
channels
really
that
well.
do really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name from South Africa? The gun guy does a lot of baboon hunting and shit.
Yeah.
Fuck, I just met him in Wisconsin at Vortex. He's it's a shooting channel, but he does a lot of hunting.
Why does baboon hunting do so good?
Like he's got millions of views
Dude,
for baboons.
baboons are the quite possibly some of the
Because
most,
they're horrible animals.
they're horrible animals.
horrible animals.
Yeah.
Terrible. If you want to think of like,
Dude, that's
think
like
of,
the coyotes here.
Impact,
Yeah.
Impact Shooting,
Yeah.
is his
Yeah.
name. South Africa guy. He's
Yeah.
like a guide and hunting channel and shooting channel.
Yeah,
and
baboons
his
are the
baboons just go to the moon.
dude, they're the
Yeah.
shittiest things. Like you watch them baboons just like straight up murder things all the time.
Yeah.
Like, just like So we're at a sheep farm, right? And they're like, so the baboons will run and like tear the udders off of the sheep,
What?
Just eat the milk sacks,
Yeah.
and just leave. They're like, meh, like the
Wow.
little calves or whatever
Yeah,
running
dude.
around. Yeah, and so he's like,
Baboons are savage.
yeah, and he goes, baboons are free here.
Yeah.
You shoot as many as you want. And I was like,
Yep.
did you say free?
As many as you want.
So
How many rounds
I
did you
didn't bring
Chris?
enough bullets for this trip.
we got a sick baboon mount coming. It's gonna be awesome.
That's cool.
Nice.
Well, it sounds like Africa's gonna be a cool.
It's going to be really good.
Episodes or film.
When you spend a month there, and especially with my dad, like my dad's a hoot, dude.
Yeah.
We had a great time. But then like I'm taking my dad to Argentina here in a couple of months. We're going to try and make that a film too, but that's going to be, I don't know. I messaged the guy in Argentina. I was like, hey, we're trying to make a film. Do you have anyone that can run a camera? And he's just like, yes. So they have like giant buffalo there.
Yeah.
Body size, they're like 2,500 pounds. And I'm like, let's go shoot some buffalo. And, like, I hear they have good wine there. So we're going to go eat some whatever you eat in Argentina and drink some wine. And
Some great food, I'm sure.
yeah, dude, it's going to be I'm excited about the food and the drink. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, we're going to pull some triggers, but, that could be some really, really good footage.
Yeah.
What do you do with it when you get back? The editing part is the hard part. So at least for like me in my mindset, like I can't, Doug's got a 9 to 5, right?
Sure.
So I can't be like, hey, Doug, do this right now, pump it out. I want it tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's got a regular job. He's got to come home. He's got a wife to, so
Battle all that shit.
yeah.
I'm up until midnight as it is.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So you can only,
Just between podcasts and like the little short things we're doing, like that's a lot of work.
It's hard to
It
run,
is.
like I think PNWild's very similar because, you guys got 3 guys,
Yep.
you all got jobs. It's not like, this isn't making us $1 million. Obviously, I think you guys are very successful as far as the outdoor industry goes. You're doing very, very well, but it's hard. It's really, really hard.
Oh,
So,
for sure, man.
Yeah.
And we've been battling for like the last couple of years. Is like, how do we get over that threshold where I can just quit my job? Like,
Right.
I want to be able to, and just like we've always said, like, man, just imagine how much content we can get.
Right.
Imagine how much more editing I could get done. Imagine
Yeah.
what we could get done if I could work, 10 hours a day
Right.
at PNWild.
Yeah.
And like we're almost there. Like it's getting very, very close to be able to step back and go for it. Like financially, it's there, but I just don't know. Like I need to go figure out that background stuff.
Right.
And we want to do like 2 of us at a time. Right. If I just go.
Right.
Am I just going to do this the whole time? That'd get old. Right.
Yeah.
Like if me and Zach can go, then it would just open up so many more avenues where, hey, we can meet, we can podcast, we can Zoom call, we can really stay motivated together
Right.
and work off each other at the same time. So I think we've said always 2025 was going to be the year that we make the leap. I think like looking at it, it might be like hunting season of 2025 because Zach went full-time last August and he's been full-time since. But I think he's going to go back. He's going to do 6 months on, 6 months off. So
Right.
he's going to go. So he's been going and getting a bunch of content, doing a bunch of stuff behind the
Right.
scenes, getting stuff. But then I'm the editor, and it doesn't really work out. So if he quits, it's just going to bottleneck with me. Mm-hmm. It could go outsourced to Colin and pay him more, but then it's just like the overhead
Where's the money
there.
come
Yeah,
from?
exactly.
Yeah.
Like we'd rather
Yeah.
be paying me because like if I'm part of the PNWild, right?
Yeah.
So there's these and I don't know anybody that's done it.
Right.
Like, what do I do for insurance?
Yeah.
I have a family of 6. If something happens, like my son a couple years ago broke his femur on the trampoline. That would just be like, oh, sorry guys, PNWild's over. Wrap
Right.
this up. And it's fucking $500,000, Providence.
Right.
Or when my son Baker spent 6 days at Seattle Children's, that bill was like $2.2 million. Wrap it up, boys. We're done. Right? Fucking
Right.
my son had brain surgery or not brain surgery, but brain scans and
Right.
spinal tapped and all sorts of shit, figuring
Right.
out why he was having seizures.
Yeah.
That would have bankrupted us if I didn't have insurance. It would have to sell my fucking house,
Yeah.
whatever it is. So those kind of like unforeseen things is
Right.
what we're going to have to get ahead of if we're going to jump ship. And I don't know. Like, does my wife go get a part-time job when all the kids are in school? and
Hell yeah.
Get insurance for us, and we can switch the rules, right? Go get us insurance, and
Yeah.
I'll carry the boats, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's a lot of different avenues that we can go down, or just wait until PNWild is there,
Yeah.
like fully, because it's like we think we're getting close.
So if you were a young buck, because
Yeah.
obviously we're trying to recruit,
Yep.
like say I'm 18,
Yep.
I want to do what you do.
Yep.
Best piece of advice, what did you say? Like,
Simone Yang.
I'm 18 years old.
Simone Yang it.
Yeah.
Yep. I just stay at home. Like Simone, dude, he's living the dream. I think Simone's 26, still lives with his parents.
Does
and yep, and makes a lot of money. And he's crushing it. And he's full time in the industry. And dude's gonna hit 100,000 subs on YouTube here in the next. And he's at like 92,000. Not that I'm watching like a hog all time. But yeah, just young and living the dream. Hunts for his day job, and he's his own editor, so he's a one-man show.
Right.
He's self-filmed everything. One-man editor, edits all of his stuff. But I mean, he's getting flown around by Yeti. Like he's there.
Huh.
Yeah, it's like there's no rush, right?
Yeah.
Like houses are so much right now. Live with your mom and dad and just figure it out. If you have that luxury to stay with the folks or just live minimal and just chase it, just follow it, chase it, man.
It's going to take some time to play out, probably.
For sure. Yeah, it's gonna take some time.
Yeah.
Like I had Samong on our podcast, and he talked about what he did, and he was like, I think he was 19 or 20 in college in Spokane, living at home, and was gonna go get a job. And then the YouTube thing like made a big incline, and it like tripped, like the light went off, and he's like, I wonder if this could be a thing.
Right.
And he like fully pursued it in 2019. He's been full-time YouTube since 2019. Right after college.
All he does is hunt all the time.
All he does is hunt and fish 24/7.
I
Good
think
for
it's timing.
Yeah, he hit a
We're
good wave.
a couple years too late.
Yeah.
There,
Well,
Jim.
and that's just like the realization too of it. The YouTube is saturated.
Yeah.
Instagram is saturated.
Yeah.
Everyone has a camera,
Yeah.
right? Everyone's
Yeah.
got a camera.
Yeah.
A GoPro's $300.
Yeah.
And that was my thing too. Is like when we start getting into it, and I was like, man, like I realized that it was saturated. Like everyone wants to be Hush. Everyone wants to be Born and Raised. Everyone wants to be Seek One. Everyone
Yeah.
wants to be the hunting public.
Yeah.
These are these big names that are carrying, 10s, 15, 20 people full-time jobs, right? And so I was like, how are we going to stand out? And the one thing that I noticed, and this isn't throwing shade on them, is that their content wasn't like high quality. It was the run and gun GoPro, shitty point and shoot camera for $200. And I was like, okay, well maybe if we stepped up the quality, we would get a different follower group, and maybe they would just like appreciate the better feel. Like the Donnie Vincent, you guys remember him?
Yeah.
Donnie Vincent was like my,
He's still kicking, dude.
but they don't do anything. Sick
Yeah.
Manta doesn't do anything, which is his film industry, his media company.
Yeah.
Sick Manta hasn't produced anything. I think his last video on YouTube is like a whitetail hunting gear review, like what he wears, right? Like
Yeah.
I remember his films in like 2013 to 14 were like,
Yeah.
oh my God, these are the top of the top.
Super
They
good.
were incredible.
Yeah.
And that was like really my motivation and what kind of my mentor was like, I'm going to keep my eye on that when a lot of people are chasing like the Hush.
Right.
When Hush they already paved the way.
Yeah.
Like they already had their personalities. They had their people, like they had their followers and their subgroup where like kind of like I saw that shift of let's make hunting like cinematic. Like if you're an older guy, Eastman's, right? Today on the Outdoor Channel, we're going to be chasing mule deer bucks in the backcountry of Montana. Like, no one's watching that anymore.
I
Sorry,
barely
this is
stand watching Eastman's nowadays.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of like I'll fast forward that shit to the kill shot on the elk. Like, dude, Mike Eastman, Ike
I like
Eastman,
the old stuff.
all of them. It's awesome,
new
right?
stuff.
It paved the way. But
Well,
that's
you couldn't
just so
fast forward
boring.
back in my day because it was
couldn't
on
It was all on the Outdoor
TV.
Channel.
It was on my tube television. You
100%.
young shits.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
that was
Oh
my
my gosh.
like original thought. It was like I don't see this being the future
Yeah.
of hunting, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think this is what, and no one's gonna tune in for we're hunting big whitetail bucks
Yeah.
out in Kansas. Like no one wants to watch the monotone ass
Right.
weird hunting shit.
Yeah.
where like it's not it. Like let's like a little more Donnie Vincent style, more like sexy. Give the hunters a better light.
Adventure too. Like adventure's
Yeah.
a big part of it too.
Adventure, yeah, and especially
I don't
now
want to see
we're-
a guy sit in a blind for 4 hours and shoot a frickin' 140 buck after he passes on $6. I don't give a shit.
Exactly. 100%, man. And that was my same thought. And that
Yeah.
was like what I held our standard to in the very beginning was that if I do all of it, I'm going to keep my quality control at what I want it to be.
Right.
And I want like super high quality pictures. I want the best video that I can do, which is not like, and if I invest more in the camera stuff, where DSLRs were kind of like the king of the market, where like mirrorless hasn't came on yet. Back when like it was like 2019, it was when mirrorless really blew up,
Right.
and the Sonys just went to the moon. Like, the Sonys like right when the mirrorless came out, it was like that's what you need to go to because the autofocusing system was 10 times better than a DSLR.
Right.
DSLR's got a mirror to deal with. Autofocusing for video, it just couldn't keep up.
Right.
Where the like run and gun for hunting style stuff, a DSLR was like. it was okay. But when mirrorless came out, it was like, oh, okay, now this is a real like opportunity to carry around a camera like this and get Netflix quality of
Right.
content. And that's when I was like, okay, it's going to be, mirrorless cameras, period. No GoPros, no phones, no shit like that. Let's just keep high quality stuff. And it's just been a slow burn. Like we haven't been the flash. We haven't had a Fireball like Hush.
Right.
Not saying Hush blew up because of Fireball, but it sure does help to have a 1 million view video right off the bat like they did. And Hush has been doing it. Like Chester's been doing it. He's a goat. Like Chester's been doing it for 30 years.
Yeah.
And Casey has been hunting and filming since like 2007, right? Like I was fucking 14. Like I'm not doing that. So it's just timing, like you mentioned. Timing was a huge part for those early guys in Born and Raised and Hush to kind of hit that and ride that wave.
The early days
You
of
get into
Facebook and Instagram and
Yeah.
YouTube, where there was not as much censorship and there's like room for growth very quickly.
Yep.
And then like you see now, like all the people that we follow, like you look at their followers are the same as they were 5 years ago.
100%.
Because there's no big growth happening.
And it's companies too. Like I've talked to several different people in our industry, company wise, content creator wise, and it's all the same. And I'm talking like really big names with 150 plus thousand followers that are like, no, our shit just doesn't get traction anymore. It's just trash.
Yeah.
It doesn't get engagement, doesn't get traction. We don't have growth.
I'm curious to see what happens with the old Zuck
Oh yeah, I saw that today.
statement he made about Meta about how they're like, there's no more fact checkers and they're going to do this and they're going to cut down.
I love how he
like,
just uses a bunch of fancy
Freedom
words.
of expression.
It's buzz, a lot of buzz,
He
a lot of
just
buzzwords.
uses a bunch of fancy words when he could
Is
just
he getting
say,
red pilled?
"Oh, we're just
What's
not
that?
going to do it
Is
anymore."
Zuck going red on us?
Yeah, here's the deal.
It
Here's-
kind of seems
here's
like
the deal.
he is.
Yeah.
Here's the deal.
Well, it kind
He
of
rides
seems like
the
it.
wave.
Yeah.
I heard he's starting a bow hunt. He started. Yeah, it's a true story. True story. Bow hunting deer. He started doing the jujitsu, which seems a little gay to me, but that's fine. Joe Rogan does it, so it's probably cool.
Yeah.
I can't do. I'm all metal.
Me
I'm
and
hating
Joe
right now
really
because
close.
my spinal cord is all metal and I can't do
He's
it.
all about the trending stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever's trending.
I'm
he's
not gonna
do.
lie. He had a bit of a oversized tough guy muscle shirt on. Like it was like
He's kind of jacked right now, isn't he?
because he had like a 3X shirt on and he's probably like a large guy.
3X.
Dude,
on.
did you see his? Yeah, he's got. It's huge. It's like I mean,
That's kind of the look right now. Kids want oversized clothes.
Well, I got a 2X on, right? So you can imagine if I had.
I'd have to wear like a 5X. To do
Yeah.
that.
So and he's not a big guy, right?
He's not a big guy.
No, he's not a big guy. But he said some things where I was like, he's like, yeah, we're gonna, the government and censorship and all the shit. And I'm like,
He said he wanted to get back to freedom of expression.
yeah. And I'm like,
and
well,
that should mean hunting.
yeah, quit fucking
content,
banning me, bro.
Quit getting censoring.
I'm banned as all get out.
Yeah.
Right? Oh yeah.
Bear Country, PNWild, Cantrell Outdoors. We're all banned.
At
Doug
least
Joyce.
shadow banned for sure.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I'm super shadow banned.
Yeah.
When you look at something, you're like, this should have at least 10,000 views,
And
and it has 500 views, and you're like, what,
Dude.
How?
Yep.
I'll post a build of a rifle.
Oh, guns for sure.
Oh yeah, anything with guns.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll build
And then we get banned because we share it.
I'll build a sniper rifle for the SWAT team. 3 views. I'm like, what? This thing's awesome. Like the rifles that we built,
Yep.
a $10,000 gun, like literally like 50 views.
And,
I'm like-
and it's not even possible.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, we're
I'm
shadow
like, dude,
banned
this
for
thing's
sure.
it's got the best components in the world. This is the best of the best. I mean, this is the Jackal type shit. And you're telling me only 50 people want to see
even
this?
that is you get limited on your the money that you get for advertising because they
Oh yeah, they won't
because
let
it
you
goes
boost
against
stuff
because it
Yeah.
goes against their guidelines
Oh,
or
community
like
standards.
our
Because-
link tree got
because it-
removed because this out of nowhere they just were like, you go against our community guidelines, gone, deleted.
What'd you have a link to in there? Anything?
Apparently,
Was it his gun shop, maybe?
I think it was Montana Knife Company. That
Oh
they were
yeah,
like,
when Montana they got hammered. Yeah.
so they're like,
did?
because it's a knife.
anything guns and knives just immediately
Did they get
gets
taken down? Did
blackballed.
their page get taken down?
No, but they're constantly being like bombarded.
They got hammered.
One of the beard butcher guys.
I was going to say the beard Seth
Instagram,
got hammered.
yeah.
Got deleted.
Like deleted.
Deleted. His personal, yeah.
My personal Facebook got deleted, which was linked to the Bear Country Facebook.
So did that get
so
fucked
then
too?
that
Or you
it's,
were locked
it's still
out?
it's still alive out there in the universe,
But you
but
can't
I
post to
I can't get to it. There's no way to. You can't call the Facebook and be like, "Hey, Facebook,
Yeah.
you messed up. Can you put that back up online?" They're like, "There's nothing to contact.
So I
You
reached
got to go
out.
through the dark channels or
Yeah.
something." I don't know.
Dark web.
So John Hayes Taxidermy,
Yeah.
he had an issue with his Facebook. Well, it's like he makes money off of that, right? So the governor of Montana had to fix it for him. So I called him. I'm like, hey, dude, can I, like, how'd you fix that? And he's like, dude, the governor had to fix it for me. He's like, we can't help you. You're in Washington. We're in Montana. I'm like, he's like, sorry, dude. I'd love to help you. But like, he goes, dude, I had to like take it up to the tippy top. And I'm like, dude, the governor of Washington State's a douche. He's not like, at the time it was Inslee.
He'd probably be like, keep him banned.
yeah, he's not going to
It
help
was me to begin with.
Yeah, he probably heard like, oh, I heard
And
your
then
podcast.
Cause over in the background.
Yeah, and I'm just like, golly, dude.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, it's a problem. Social media and like Instagram's gone really downhill. Like pictures used to be king. Now
Yeah.
it's all just like reels and videos and short like gotcha content, which is
Yeah.
just not. It doesn't benefit the hunting community.
I don't like the gotcha.
No, and it's just the
I still appreciate a good photo. Like when I see a good photo,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll like save it. Be like, yeah, this like
Your
future.
like your snow photos are good. I like that.
Yeah, we don't even bother anymore, which is shitty. Like we used to be like go to our page, and I used to be so meticulous about like our layout. And, like that picture can't go next to that one because the colors mesh.
Yeah.
and I was like, I don't want that on our page. So it used to be like really like I care about it how it looks.
No,
Well,
it's
that's
just-
pretty much how Instagram started. Was
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
pictures.
Yeah.
like
Picture-
if and it used
picture
to be
posts.
like your portfolio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It used to be like, okay, who's Bear Country? I'm gonna go to their page, and if it's a bunch of cell phone shit, I'm like, I'm not into this. They don't take it seriously,
Yeah.
right? If you go to it and you're like, oh man, these are a bunch of fucking sick pictures.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's a banger. That's a banger. That's a banger. Sick bear. Cool
Yeah.
picture. Cool rifle. Subscribe. Right now, it's just a gotcha with a cool big title that says, "Oh my god, giant fucking gorilla."
Yeah.
That's all that matters now. You just a bunch of gotchas.
The Cody bull, it was Cody, right?
Casey.
Casey. Yeah.
Casey, yeah. Dude, the gotchas on his bull
Oh god.
on Instagram right now, holy shit.
Unreal.
Dude, every other post.
Yeah.
Every other post is a gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
It's
If that's what they were going for, they definitely killed it.
Oh,
Dude.
dude, and it's a meme. His bull is turning into a meme.
100%.
It for sure. It's a picture of
Dude,
his
why
bull.
aren't we posting his bull saying, our buddy got this bull?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Follow us for more information.
Over a barrel of oats. Ha,
Yeah.
ha, ha, ha. Like
Yeah.
it's turning into a meme. Like,
Yeah.
His bull is a meme for sure.
And he's taking so much shade over it, which he shouldn't, which is a
It's
whole
so
nother
dumb.
can of worms.
It's dude, the guy shot a bull.
Yep.
He had a governor's tag.
He had a governor's tag.
Yep.
If it was over bait,
He had permission.
Who gives a shit?
Yep.
Where it's legal to bait here.
Yep.
If he shot it on private or public, doesn't matter. Who gives a shit if he had permission?
That's right.
It was a giant bull. You guys suck a dick, Rick. Who cares?
Good for him.
It's huge. It's a world record bull.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it was roaming public land.
Yeah.
It was.
It
Let's
was.
just be honest.
Oh,
some
maybe
point.
it ended up in someone's yard, or maybe it wandered around a bunch of people's yards.
And he's
They're
got
wintering right now.
and he's
so-
got a checkbook that
Dude,
the landowner accepted. How
Yeah.
can you fault him for that?
I will tell you this. If I had a governor's tag,
Yeah.
I would pay whoever,
Especially for that bull.
wherever, for that bull. Do not care. There's a bull in my garage. Can I shoot it with a gun, or do I need to? How do you want me to kill it in your garage? Because I'm killing it.
100%. Yeah.
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 10 out of 10.
Don't really and like we talked about off air before this, it was like it is kind of sad to sit back and look at like just the infighting in our industry.
Oh, dude.
Because right now we have like the magnifying glass on us from all angles.
Right.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to shut us down.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to fuck with hunting. They want to introduce grizzlies. They want to take away cougar hunting. They want to introduce more wolves here and there. They want to do this. They want to shorten our seasons. Why fight each other? Like, why jump on each other's back? drag each other down, throw more posts up about how this guy, because the hunting community or the non-hunting community in Bellevue is going to see these posts and go, look, this guy poached a fucking bull over a barrel of oats, and we're supposed to appreciate it. And even though like he didn't do anything legally wrong, they're going to see this. And then the high rises in Seattle go, see, these fucking idiots are just shooting elk illegally over there in Suncadia. And
Ban
it's
it.
like, exactly.
Well, and that's
they're
exactly
going to be
what
like,
they're gonna
fight,
think, 'cause they're
fucking
gonna-
ban it.
all the crazy controversy around it, right?
Yeah.
People are going to read the comments and be like, oh, yeah, this is a big poacher over here.
Exactly. Yep.
But really, the reality is he did it all legally.
Yep.
And he has money. Okay?
Exactly.
He's got money and he
There
shot
are
a giant
better
bull.
things to throw shade at than another hunter who shot a big animal.
100%,
and
dude.
You don't agree with the way he did it. You know what I always say? If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
100%, man.
That's what my mom always
But I will
used to
say-
Yep.
Matt Ranella can suck it.
And Justin Trudeau.
And Justin Trudeau.
And Justin Trudeau.
Yeah.
Which was a big announcement this week.
Yeah, that was a huge announcement. Yeah. My best friend, Justin, he follows the podcast.
After years of us hounding him on the podcast,
He's
we
like,
finally got through.
So he calls me because we're good buddies. I was like, I'm on the
Yeah,
phone.
do you on speed dial?
I'm on the phone, and I'm like, hey, Jim, I got to go. Justin's calling. So I call Shocks later, and Justin's like, well, I think I need to resign. And I'm like, but why? And he's like, because everyone tells me I suck. And I'm like, well, you do.
You do.
You suck real bad. So, anyways, congratulations, Canada. I'm super excited for Jim Shockey. I'm super excited for old JT to have his new whatever he's gonna do.
Didn't you say something like you were like, what was the final straw? He was like, it was Bear Country Outdoors.
Bear
barely a
Country. He said
podcast, but
It was
broke-
Bear Country Outdoors
broke me.
podcast. Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, and he cried a lot, and I told him to hydrate.
It was too much for the 100 followers.
Yeah, yeah,
It was our 100 followers. Make a big wave, okay?
dude, I'm dropping bombs.
Jump on that wave, Canada.
I'm dropping bombs.
It's so much fun.
Yeah,
Congrats, Canada.
yeah. Seriously, that's
Welcome.
a big that's
Big
that's
win for them.
That's
One
a
step
huge win
towards
for
freedom.
Canada.
Yeah.
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 You know, we got a we definitely didn't get a win in Washington with having the world record bull shot here, but we're never gonna get drawn
Hey,
for a.
we had a world record bull shot in Washington this year.
Well,
That's pretty cool.
I still have a bunch of points though, so I really want to get drawn for that unit this year. But that's never gonna happen.
Is like you look at the hunting industry and you never see Washington being like one of the taboo
No.
places.
No one ever looks at like, oh, if I'm gonna put in,
ever.
I'm gonna
Never
put in for
talking
Washington.
about Washington.
Never ever.
But you know what? I will say, if you have the right tag, Washington probably has some of the biggest elk in the world.
Well,
We just
obviously
put in the right unit.
biggest, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm no joke, like outside of that world record elk
Yeah.
that was just
Yeah.
shot, some of the biggest bulls I've ever seen in the United States have been in Washington.
seen some big bulls too. Lots of
yeah,
400
because
inch
you
bulls.
can't shoot them.
I mean, yeah. Look,
Yeah,
go
you-
down.
they
they're
come and
protected
scream
in
at
a
you.
lot of-
Come and scream in your face, and you go
Yeah.
ha ha ha, and you're like,
Yeah.
The blues used to be amazing tag. I heard the wolves kind of ruined that.
Dude, tons of cats in the
Cats,
blues.
wolves.
man.
Tons of cats.
We
in
need
the
to-
I mean,
blues.
look at Hanford and
we're
Yakima.
gonna
Like
talk
last
about
year,
wolves here in a minute.
that last year there was a guy on the Yakima Indian Reservation that killed like a 440, just a giant bull. A couple years back, 2022, that 429 or something came out of the blues.
Yeah.
I mean, every year we have, like you said,
Giant.
we have big
Oh,
bulls
yeah.
in this
That
state.
was the bull we saw at the sportsman show.
Yeah, he came to the sportsman show,
Yeah.
and he came to Portland too in 2022, the year that Smung was with us.
Giant bucks too. Remember when we were in sports? What was that? What was that buck that guy shot there in Winthrop? Remember he was walking by us.
Oh, the old dude.
Yeah.
The pictures went around with the
Yeah,
front of
yeah.
the Jeep.
It was so.
I think that was 227
It was
or
so
220.
heavy.
220.
Dude, that buck was a
So
hammer.
I'm-
giant,
We
yeah.
walked right by that guy at the sportsman show, and he was probably about his size, and he was holding that thing up at his nipples
Yeah.
almost. And the thing
When
was
that
touching
picture
the
went
ground.
around, it was like
Oh, yeah.
kind of like Casey's, not
Yeah.
on that thing, but it was
Yeah.
like everyone knew about it immediately.
Yeah.
And then the tripod buck from 2013 that came out of Winthrop,
Oh, yeah.
that's 237.
Yeah.
I mean, like when they happen here, like they're here.
Yeah.
Like we have big bucks, we
Yeah.
have big bulls. they're here, but they're just not as frequent as like something like one.
Trying to shoot a 200-inch deer here.
200-inch deer. There's no 200-inch deer. No.
Yeah, that would be the probably the pinnacle. Shoot a 200 deer and then just fucking leave the state.
Dude,
I'm out. Going to
if
Dude,
I-
if I could draw my quality deer tag
and my
and
quality
end on that,
yeah.
fucking done, dude.
Yeah.
I'm done. I am out. I am gonna be hunting Idaho and Montana and
I
Wyoming.
need a goat though. I need a goat pretty bad.
I know, dude. It would be
I mean,
nice to
Here
shoot a
though,
goat.
your chances are so shit too.
Yeah, and the goat population is going to hell.
I heard that
They killed them
Yeah,
all.
It's not good.
It's going real bad. Speaking of putting in, where you putting in for this year?
We're going unedited, guys.
PNWild.
25.
PNWild's putting in for where?
Everything. Yeah,
All the
states.
western states.
Yeah, we do Utah, Nevada. I just applied for spring bear in Oregon. We do. I don't know. I'm gonna do antelope in Wyoming. My wife and I are gonna do antelope. We both have 4 points. I think we're just gonna go for a
Nice.
4-point unit.
That'll be fun.
She wants to go. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe do like a Yellowstone trip with the kids. Take them, go smash an antelope.
That'd be awesome.
It's all flatland shit. They can
Yeah.
handle that. But yeah, we want to do antelope this year for sure. So we're gonna do Wyoming. Gonna dump our points there. We apply for Nevada, Utah, New Mexico, Idaho, Colorado, Montana, all of them. Just see where it lands. And I mean, if we have to turn shit back, we turn shit back.
And how are you doing that? How are you applying for all these places? You use like a guide service or?
Well, I'm glad you asked there, Chris. We use this company, Go Hunt. We're partners with Go Hunt, and they have a pretty cool insider membership program, and comes with like maps and tracking and filtering 2.0 and stuff. And if you use coupon code PNW, you can save some money.
Ooh.
Helps us out, helps yourself out, save some bacon, get some money to the Go Hunt gear shop instantly. So if you use that code, you get $50 or $100, whatever it is at the time, and right into the gear shop. If you need some food or some headlamps, boots, something like that, you can get some money into the Go
I have
Hunt
to
gear
try
shop.
that.
I'm not gonna lie. The guy that runs at Lorenzo, right?
Yeah. Yep.
He made some videos,
Yeah. They're pretty funny.
dude.
Yeah. He's one of us.
Seems I feel like that's a big company, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
for a guy that owns a company that big to come out and just like rally the troops
Yeah.
and talk shit about all the crap that's going on,
Yeah.
rightly so, because we're getting
100%.
crapped on, right?
Yep.
I'm like, this guy seems pretty solid.
For sure, man. He's definitely one of the guys that you can kind of have a real conversation with and not feel like I don't think that guy was being real. I think he's a genuine like hunter at heart.
Yeah.
And that's what he cares about. I mean, he started a company called Go Hunt.
Yeah.
So right there you're like putting like
Yeah.
you're not like leaving anything, behind
Yeah.
the table. It's like I'm here, I'm a company for hunting, promoting hunting, and I'm going to defend hunting. And that's kind of what they're putting their money where their mouth is.
So we're just, we use Onyx because we had Randy Newberg's code 37 years ago.
It's great, man. Onyx is awesome.
But as far as so the maps go,
Yeah.
I use the maps a lot, right? I use
Yep.
it for work. I use it for hunting.
Yeah.
That's a great way to pre-scout where you're going to go.
Yeah. So
I use it daily just throughout my day.
is Go
I'm
Hunt like
curious.
is it do they have a good mapping system like that, or how's that work?
I'm pulling it up. Here you go.
Oh,
Fuck around with it.
hold on, I'm gonna screenshot all of Jeff's waypoints.
It's a little slow here because my internet sucks, but it's
Dead Buck 2017 save.
it's literally identical. I mean, a lot of the same stuff, right? Like back and forth between.
Does
those
it have
big
like
companies.
private lands and everything?
Yep,
like
you have
marked?
all landowners' name, and it's just a base price of $49 a month, and you get all 50 states, and you get everything. So I like the elite system.
49 a month.
Yep, 49. No, a year,
Okay.
and you get all. You get all 50.
I was gonna say pump the brakes, girlfriend. That's
Yeah. No, yeah, I think
I was
on it-
like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I don't know
what
what
else
the-
comes with that.
the prices
Massages?
anymore, but
by the way, I'm putting my readers on this is how serious I'm getting.
Okay, get
And
serious, man.
And he hasn't even. By the way, Lorenzo, if you're listening, he hasn't rated Go Hunt yet because it said, "Are you enjoying Go Hunt?" I'm gonna put not now.
Yeah, so like all their, if you just pull it up like for the first time, and you can see like the difference of the interfaces being like orange and different buttons, like rather than the red from Onyx.
Dude, not rated. I'm putting. You want me to 1 star?
You do you, man. You're the pilot of that right now.
Lorenzo, I'm putting 5 stars in here. Call me.
My name's Chris Cantrell.
I just gave you a 5-star, bro.
Yeah.
On Jeff's phone.
Yeah.
Jeff's phone.
No, I think the interface is super similar to Onyx. Like your experience from Onyx to Go Hunt is going to be basically identical. Some of the pin changes are different
Well,
names and different
Onyx
features.
has not sent us a sponsorship, so if Go Hunt wants to sponsor us and send us a mapping
I
system
might
for free,
know a guy.
I'm going to be honest. I like the idea of having like we talked about before. Like I'm old school. Like I used to get the Eastman's Hunting Journal,
Yeah.
and I'd flip to the back to the member section, and I'd look at like the blue chip areas for hunting. Like I want to
Sure.
put in for antelope in Wyoming, and it would tell me like, oh, this unit is good, this unit's crap, this is
Yeah.
a good buck, this is
Yeah, and you can
I
do
like
that with
I like the idea of having like
That.
more than just a mapping system or more than just
Yeah.
Onyx
like
doesn't
you're getting
give you
information.
that.
No, well they do. They did start.
they
like,
partnered with
yeah.
Huntful, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they started doing some of that stuff too. But I feel like Go Hunt was way ahead of them on that.
For sure. Yeah. And like for the filtering 2.0 or the point tracking or the draw odds, stuff like that, if you just wanted to go super simple, you can pick any state, input your points, and then it'll just like tell you what you can draw, where you can draw, what unit you can draw, and then it'll give you all the information on that unit. Private land percentage, bull to cow ratio, buck to doe ratio, trophy potential, all that kind of thing. You can just filter right through it and just say, I don't want to bother my time with any unit that's under 80% public land. And you can filter all that shit out. And it'll just highlight what that is for you. And you can be like,
So
okay,
they're just using like
17.
AI or something, or they got.
I think it's just all just like data driven. It's
they
all,
got 50 nerds in a room putting in.
yep.
I'm
they
trying
do.
to figure out where they're getting all this data from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It mu- well, a lot of
who's
it's
who's out in the
available
field
probably.
getting all this information.
They're probably available through the different state sites. Like our state
Exactly.
has
Yep.
all of that general information.
your
If you know how to
draws.
dig it,
Yep.
Doug, you
It's-
just call
it's a
the
lot.
internets.
you just call the internet.
Call the internet,
All
Doug.
the
Yeah, so
internets.
they really do.
Just
so when,
the same internets that told us that we have no wolves in our state,
Dude. Just gotta call 'em.
right?
Yeah. It is pretty sad though when you go to like Go Hunt filtering and then you go to Washington State and then you say mule deer and you do quality mule deer and then you do 18 points and it still says less than 1%. You just kind of want to jump out the window.
Yeah.
You have better odds like drawing region G on like the random
Right.
with 3 points than you do with 20 points in Washington for quality.
Which is insane.
Insane.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. I had like a 2.7% chance to draw my whitetail tag this year. Per Go Hunt's odds.
Maybe because
And I drew it.
What did you do?
our
What did
Fish and
you?
Game
How did you
Commission.
do it, Jeff?
You know, I broke down with Jay, Mr. Inslee, and you know, I was just like,
Took him out for a strawberry daiquiri or something.
Hey,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, if you're out there and listening, Jay, I would for some tags.
We need some oil tags. Okay, I'll buy you all the strawberry
Yeah.
daiquiris you want.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still riding that train. Like I'm over 20 across the board, basically.
That's
and
insane, man.
Still, like I've never drawn a quality anything in our
Me
state
neither.
the entire time. I've drawn a couple cow tags. That's it.
Multi-season.
20 points, you guys are tickling.
Yeah.
You guys are right there. You're gonna hit it.
That's what we say every year, Jeff.
This is
that-
true.
And there's a reason I tell you that I go to South Africa and I spend a month in Montana,
Yeah.
and I'm taking my dad to Argentina.
Have you guys done Colorado yet?
And I have not done
I
Colorado.
haven't done Colorado. no.
I bought a house in Arizona because the people that run the state, Bob Ferguson, Jay Inslee, our fishing and commission,
Yep.
it's like
Writings on the wall.
they're just driving. Oh, you don't want my money? I'll go spend it somewhere else. That's fine.
Yep. And then them trying to slowly take away like the best over the counter hunt we have in Washington, which arguably is our bear hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're taking that away slowly. And like we talked about off air was that we're 1 or 2 years away from being September 1st one bear. You know, and it's gonna happen.
It's so
Like, just-
stupid.
I think it's gonna happen. I hope it doesn't.
Unless
Yeah.
something dramatically changes
Yeah.
with either a
Yep,
commission.
And I don't see
or-
Bob saying, you know what, yeah, let's let him hunt bears.
Oh,
You
he's
know,
such a bad person.
No, it's just horrible.
Oh,
So-
we got little kids getting eaten by bears.
Yeah.
We need to only shoot
And then if
one
you
bear.
extrapolate that out, them taking away our bear hunting, and then realize that if they take away our bear hunting, bears eat meat. I know it's shocking to
Yeah.
a lot of folks
Yeah.
that bears do like to kill fawns and calves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I get that Teddy Bear and Winnie the Pooh didn't do that,
Yeah.
but real life bears do. So when that happens and we can't harvest our bears and we can't manage our bears, these bears have to eat, so there are going to be more bears, and more bears means they have to eat more meat. Eventually, they're going to take away at our mule deer herds that are already suffering you
Yeah.
know, at a
Dude,
very
we're-
bad rate. They're going to be
We're
like, you know what?
Really bad shape.
You
I-
have to
I
apply to
think-
hunt mule deer now.
We don't have enough deer for you to hunt because
I think
all
it-
the bears ate them.
I think it compounds with the predators. Like if
It
one
does.
predator gets out of control, they're all going to get out of control.
Oh,
because it's going to
100%.
be competition for
Yep.
food.
Look at the cats and the blues.
Because
Cats
know,
and the blues.
we've literally talked to people that have said that wolves will literally follow the cats and steal cats'
Yep.
food
Yep.
I mean,
after they kill it. So cats are killing more, therefore,
To feed the wolves.
Yeah.
to feed the
And the
wolves.
wolves are just we'll just
I've
whatever.
heard, was that on Meat Eater that they were talking about that? I've heard that same.
Well, I've talked to a biologist that told me that
they're taking
they were doing
cat
that.
kills.
Yeah.
That was like on a big published somewhere. Maybe it was on Rogan or something even.
It,
Remember, they're talking
it was Vincent when he was on Rogan. He was talking about it.
Yeah,
Yes. Donnie Vincent was talking about it.
Yep, I've heard that same shit where or cats.
But
wolves
I've
will
heard it
follow around
straight
cats and
from
steal.
biologists in Washington
Crazy.
that have said that exact same thing.
and it's
When you have collared both, you know
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking
Exactly.
about.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that cat killed something. It was there for 8 hours, and then all of a sudden it ran off,
Yeah.
and now our wolves were there.
Well,
it's very obvious.
And there's wolves places where they weren't before and they are now in
Yeah.
thick numbers and even in wilderness areas.
Yeah.
And dude, it's getting wild. And it's at some point here in the next, I feel like in the next 5 years,
Yeah.
we're gonna hit a freaking brick wall especially with the mule deer herds.
Oh,
where we're
struggling.
they're already almost there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
I mean, you
For
guys
sure.
hunt mule deer. It's bad.
It's very bad.
And it's gonna get way worse.
2023, when we were on our high buck hunt, the film Trophy, we have like video evidence of getting howled at by wolves, and we saw a wolf on film. When we got home, I went to WDFW and went to our wolf herds or wolf packs, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, guys, you'd be happy to know that there's no wolf pack where we just saw 12 wolves and got howled at for 12 hours."
right.
So we were all very comforted that those weren't really wolves; they were just sound machines or something, because there's no wolves there in that certain area of the state. So it was good to know that those weren't
funny.
wolves.
So
But it's the same thing. It's just like I have factual, evidential proof on
Right.
video that we were witnessing wolves, hearing wolves, and then seeing wolves.
And
then
that's
you go
not
to
a small pack of wolves. That's a
No.
fairly large pack
that
of
was
wolves.
Yeah, that was a
that was
very
a
large
large pack
pack.
of wolves.
Yeah.
And then go to WDFW, and there was nothing within I think I mapped it out, but without being giving away too much. It was like the nearest pack was 38 miles away, which they could travel that for
They have
sure.
no idea.
But they were that one region of where we were. There was no confirmed wolves there.
And they happened to be right there at the same time.
Exactly.
well, where I used to hunt, so
Because they're
that
the absolute best hunting
Yeah.
and tracking killing machines that there are on the planet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know.
that buck
Yeah.
I shot years ago in that canyon. It's cashmere, right? Not to give away the area, but there's a
Went at you.
there's a canyon for sale that I used to hunt. That's where I shot that buck. That property's for sale. I was like, man, I'd like to buy that property. It's a ridiculous amount of money right now. But I talked to my taxidermist. He goes, oh, I was up that canyon here a couple months ago. There's no deer left. I would see 50 to 100 deer when I'd hunt that canyon. It's a big piece of property. It's really big. It's over a section. I'm like, what are you talking about? No deer. He goes, it's all wolf tracks and carcasses. Wolf tracks and carcasses. That's it. Dead.
That's like our deer hunting spot.
Dead deer, dead cows, dead everything. Wolf tracks. And I'm like, in cashmere? Yeah.
It's insane. Man.
Dude, they're spread out. They're pretty much all across all regions of
Do you guys-
Washington.
do you guys get them on cameras quite a bit? Like
Yeah.
in your sail cams?
Yeah, we've got them on cameras.
Same. I've had cats and wolves on the same camera within a couple days, and this camera, it's just like a local camera that I like to just keep tabs on. It's maybe 2.5 miles from a main highway road and 10 to 8 miles from a main town, and it's like you got fucking wolves right there that don't exist.
I'm shocked
Cats. It's like,
Yeah.
that we haven't seen them here because I've seen more and more and more predators here. I had 4 cats this spring, 4 different cats this spring here, a mile from I-5.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
And I'm just like, where are all these cats coming from?
In your yard.
Everything's
Yeah.
With
in-
livestock around, you're gonna have problems.
oh yeah, they've
So we should definitely eliminate
It's a
cat hunting and
competition
deer hunting.
problem.
yeah.
It's all it's coming down to is food.
Yeah. It's a good thing our
getting-
fish and game
it's
stay on
getting
top
scarce.
of it,
Yeah, they're on it though.
And it's
Our-
crazy
our,
because
our commission's doing a bang up job.
I seen wolves over 12 years ago in the state.
Yeah.
Dude, I had
There's no wolves here. Oh,
I had a wolf.
literally drove up on a wolf eating the shit that was left over from a camp.
Yeah. So
Gnawing
I think
on
it
a
was
leg that was left over.
2010. I had a picture that I took like probably 15 different photos of this wolf down in the Winston unit. And this was before there was any packs established or any wolves that were, proven to be on the west side of Washington.
Yeah.
And then I remember I sent it into the Fish and Game. Everything was like, here's photos. Here's like, it was like a cell phone video I had too. And they're like, I never heard from them. I'd sent it straight to the biologist, everything. Just like, never heard from him. And that was right when Hoofrot just started. It was just getting started.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there was wolves there, and I got pictures. I still have that picture too. But big old lone wolf, probably a big male. This is west side of Washington, 2010. Like, that's a long time ago.
Yeah. You think about it.
Yeah.
That's 2010's 15 years ago.
Yeah.
That's
And
insane.
Western Washington. And there's been packs that have been established here, and they keep saying, "Oh, we can't have any sort of management because we have this wolf management plan there has to be an established pack in every region of the state, right? And the only region that doesn't have an established pack is Southwest Washington, like down on the peninsula, like." Like, how in the hell is a pack of wolves even going to get over? They got to cross over I-5, go through towns, got to go through all that shit just to get over to that region. And that's what they're holding on. So we're going to let everything else burn to the ground so that we can have a chance of having a pack in a corridor where they're not going to go.
For what?
Classic fishing game.
Classic fishing game.
This is our commission. They're holding on to this because they could have delisted them
Yeah.
this last go around and they didn't. And it's probably going to be
which we are fighting the good
coffin.
fight. We got a bunch of stuff coming up with Sportsman's Alliance. Hopefully, we cause a little more damage than we did with the Lorna Smith lawsuit. Although we won it, nothing happened, unfortunately. But we're going to be definitely pushing back.
Thanks, Bob.
We got a bunch of stuff going on. So there's obviously, like PNWild, you guys did your T-shirt that did very, very well. We're gonna do some fundraisers. We may do another T-shirt. We're gonna do a bunch of different stuff. So hopefully that helps and pans out. We need more younger people, right? We need some younger
Next generation, man.
Yeah, we need next gen. We need recruitment. So, Jeff, what would you tell? Like, I just graduated high school. I'm in high school. You want to do something like this? We need you to stay in Washington and fight as all us old guys get out of this state because it sucks. Pro tip: what are you doing?
It's tough, man. Like, I want to turn tail and run sometimes,
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here and go to a more stable state that supports and hunts and even realizes and appreciates my way of life.
Right.
So to recommend young kids to do it instead of turning tail, it is honestly just tough. But Washington, I would argue, is some of the most beautiful backcountry and hunting landscapes I've seen and been into.
100%.
Like I've been Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Utah. Like I've been a lot of those states. Granted, I haven't spent as much time as I have in Washington,
Right.
just doing week-long trips and stuff. But my favorite spots in Washington State, bar none, are just more pretty, more
Right.
rugged,
Yeah.
more like there's not a lot of places in the United States where you can go do what we did in Trophy last year, period.
Right.
Where we were literally 40 miles from a truck. You can't do that many places. Like the Frank comes to mind.
Yeah.
I don't know a ton of wildernesses in Montana.
Yeah.
The Bob, I don't know if you can get that far from a road. It's pushing it. Like
Yeah.
we have some very remote stuff in Washington State.
Right.
And some of that North Cascade stuff, like it's just stunning, man. Like it's truly just like home, right? Like
Right.
I truly love it. So our bear hunting is absolutely incredible. You guys know, I mean, you're making a fucking company out of bear hunting alone, right?
Yeah.
So what we have here is truly special. It's incredible. Like we flew out Omar from Go Hunt. We flew out Dylan from Onyx to come hunt our fall bear when we were partners with them. And they said the same thing. Like, I've never seen anything like this. Dylan, from a lifetime Montana resident from Onyx, came out and was like, this is the most beautiful shit I've ever seen. and we were up in the North Cascades and just whooped his ass. And he's like, man, this is crazy big country and just stunning.
Right.
And so it's good to hear that kind of stuff from other Western states that we look at, right? Grass is always greener, if you will. Grass is always
100%.
greener. And you come out to our state and you show them some of that North Cascade stuff, and it's just like, oh, man, I get it. Like, drive over 20.
Yeah.
That's all you need to see.
Yeah.
Drive over Highway 20, you're going to see some crazy shit.
You're barely seeing even a tip.
And you're just, you're scratching the surface.
You get over, you see Diablo, you're like,
Exactly. Where the hell are we again?
what's going on here?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you go up to the top of 20 and you see Liberty Bell down towards Mazama and stuff. And you're like, okay, there's some crazy shit back in here.
Yeah.
Look all the way north and you got 30 miles as the crow flies till you hit Canada.
Right.
And that's just wilderness.
Yeah.
You know?
Once you get into it, it's like, it almost can be overwhelming.
Oh, it's super
You look
100%.
on the horizon, you're like, has some of this stuff even been touched? I don't know.
We've thought the same thing, man. Like, you're back in the wilderness doing high buck and you're 38 miles in on foot and you're sitting on this knob watching the sunset and you're like, you think fucking people sat here before? You're
Right.
like, those conversations
Probably
come
not,
up, you know,
yeah.
and they're same thing. You go to Stehekin, Chelan, all that kind of Glacier Peak, Alpine Lakes. I mean, stunning. You know, so it is worth fighting for. It is absolutely worth fighting for. And generationally, if you want to get romantic, talking about Chris and I have kids, Jim kids, talking about that, like I would love for them to be able to go into that backcountry and chase a bear,
Right.
You know, chase a deer. And I would hate to see the day where Washington no longer has that opportunity to go hunting. Where if I do hunker down here and spend the rest of my life here, I will fight for my kids and my grandkids to be able to go enjoy hunting the outdoors the way we did it. It's already changing from the
Right.
way our parents did it, our grandparents did it. Like, Chris, your dad got to enjoy the over-the-counter goat, I'm sure.
100%,
The
yeah.
over-the-counter
Yeah.
any branch bull,
Yeah.
right? And now that's slowly changing. Like when he was our age, he was probably like, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about? I can go shoot an elk right now.
It's
Yeah.
any bull.
Exactly, any elk.
Or chasing predators with dogs.
Chasing predators with dogs.
Yeah,
That's a
he
great
did.
example
Or
as well.
baiting bears.
Baiting
He
bears,
used to bait
hound
bears,
hunting
yeah,
cougars,
for sure,
all
yeah.
this kind of shit. And
Yeah.
then it's just little by little.
Yeah.
And look where we're at now. Never in the world would we have thought that we have a chance of losing our bear hunting. Spring bear's gone, straight gone.
Yeah.
Now
Stolen.
from us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now our fall bear is, we're just going to reduce it by 1 and you're going to take a month off.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Where'd this come from? You
Yeah.
just said that we have a completely sustainable, renewable resource.
Yeah.
Arguably with proven data from a biologist who
Yeah.
spends their life in the field. And you're going to take it away on what proof? What backing?
Which the population has been proven to be growing.
100%. Yeah.
So
Communist Commission.
Seems
Yeah.
like everything that they get, they just want to go against.
It's really bad. You
It's
know,
all about the agenda.
you know,
seems like,
you have Baker, who's very dangerous. She's very anti-hunting. She's
They're all
smart.
two-faced.
She's smart enough to know that she knows how to play the game.
you know, she's an attorney.
Yeah, and she knows how to steal. She's a professional thief, you know. And then you get someone who, like Lorna Smith, who just, you know, hates hunting.
Anti-hunting
Period.
to their core.
Yeah, to the core.
Yeah.
and doesn't care. She'd take everything away. She doesn't care. She just wants to watch the world burn.
Yep.
You know, and they don't care. So unfortunately, it's up to guys like us. It's up to people like, you know, the younger generation, where we have to push back and unfortunately we have to fight and we have to put ourselves in uncomfortable situations and spend a bunch of our money, and it's really disappointing that we have to do
A
this.
lot of people that like to hunt don't really have a lot of money, too.
Yeah,
so
it sucks.
makes it really tough for us to fight back.
Yeah,
Well, and the big thing too is time. Like these commission meetings are just so randomly in the middle of a weekday.
yeah,
You know, at 9 o'clock in the morning at Tacoma.
Yeah.
When they know, like Doug just said, we're all 9 to 5ers.
Yeah.
We're all blue collar dudes. We're working equipment. We're in the factories. We're doing this. We're doing that. Not a lot of us have the luxury of working from home or just
Right.
taking a day off on a whim when a commission meeting pops up and it's like, you guys got to be there at 10 o'clock in Olympia. It's like,
right.
fucking can't. I don't know what you want from me. I can't do it.
I want to save that day to go hunting. You know what
Dude,
I mean? It's just
exactly.
Even like some of the remote meetings where like I signed up to speak,
Yep.
I'm in the middle of like a job
Yep.
and I'm like, I gotta go sit in my van for 30 minutes.
100%, dude.
And I'm like waiting
Yeah.
for him to call my name. Ah,
Yeah, and that's by design.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're doing that on purpose.
100%.
And then just when the spring bear was finally taken away,
Yeah.
that was on the Friday of modern deer season. Is that fucking coincidental or not?
And the thing is, it doesn't matter what you say at those meetings.
Nope.
Because if it's not what they want to hear, they don't listen. Look at Lorna. Look at Baker. They don't listen to you.
Nope.
Half the time they get up and take their bathroom break in the middle of like something. They
Oh,
don't
classic
like.
Doug Bose, dude.
Yeah.
When Doug Bose speaks, you can see all the irrational people stand up and leave. Like, oh, weird. The people that hate hunting and are ruining Washington State get up and leave. Why is that?
Because I know Doug's gonna fucking mow him over.
Dude, the one time I was at that when we did that meeting where a bunch of us went down.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And the guy was doing it remotely because he was a weirdo, and he was sleeping. He was sitting there.
No way.
Yeah, on the screen, and one of the guys, one of the hunters that showed up was like, "Can somebody wake him up?" Like in the middle of his speech.
This was
and
a
it
commissioner sleeping?
Yes, he was falling asleep, and he was on the big screen because he was the only one who did it remotely. And so then they're like, he made this big, huge scene. The guy, it was hilarious. I was dying laughing. And he's like, can he at least have the respect to show us and listen? And so then the Baker's like, hello. I can't remember which commissioner it was. He's like, wake up, wake up, wake up. And then he's like, huh, huh, huh. And he's like, huh?
You can tell how serious they take their job.
Yeah, I'm like,
right?
Yeah.
Are you freaking kidding me? Like, how disrespectful.
Yeah.
It's just
goes to
just
show
don't
you
care.
what they,
Yeah.
exactly
They just
how
don't
much
care.
they respect us.
they just
what we do.
just
They're
want
there
to
to push an agenda and to win their ballot box, and then they're going to move on to the next state that they think they can win in.
Right.
Which
Well,
is
I mean, Colorado was a perfect example. Like, it started here in Washington. They started to gain momentum, and they're like, they reached a little too far.
Yeah.
You know, they thought, oh, that's ripe for the taking. Colorado's another blue state.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
well, and that one's a little bit more severe, where it's literally just Denver County. Everything else in Colorado is like severely red. Like
And really, I mean,
you might have like
they-
Vail or
Yeah.
they
skiing
lost.
shit.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you
It
look
took
at
a lot of effort.
it took a
took a
lot. It was a
ton of
lot of effort.
It was a lot of effort from our
money.
board.
Was it close?
It was fairly close. Like, I think it was like, wasn't it like 46% yes? Like, that's pretty
So
close.
they only swung it by 4%. That's too close to be like comfortable and celebrating it by.
Yeah, I mean, it was like,
Because they can just try again
as the numbers went
next year, right?
Started to drop down a little bit, but it was close enough to where it was like, yeah, they won by a margin, but it wasn't a big margin.
Yeah.
Like, it could have swung the other way had hunters not get involved and like really pushed. I mean, that was the biggest push I saw of anything
Yeah.
in the U.S. that we've had.
Yep.
Like any big, like
Yeah,
if we
they
had
got-
that with our spring bear,
Yeah.
we probably would still have spring bear.
Oh, 100%.
If the whole U.S.
it made it
backed
to
us in
Rogan.
that way, yeah.
Like it was on Rogan, it was on Go Hunt several times.
Yeah.
It was on How. I mean, it was everywhere.
Yeah.
And they made a good push.
Even was it Derek Wolf? He's
Yep,
an
Derek
ex-football
Wolf.
Player.
Yep, Meat Eater.
He-
They were
yeah,
talking
he
about
made
it on Meat
he made
Eater.
a big comment
Yeah.
about that.
Because he lives in Colorado.
Yeah, he's from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's from Colorado, so he made a big stink about it too.
But that's what we need. Like that's a good representation of what the hunting community can do when we all rally together, rather than this Casey Brooks shit where
Yeah.
it like divides us for a minute.
Yeah,
like,
don't-
what are we doing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't. If someone hunts, no matter how they hunt, if you don't like trapping, or you don't like when they hunt with dogs, or you don't like they hunt over bait, who gives a shit? Hunting is hunting.
Yep.
No matter what.
Yep.
You back your folks.
Yep.
If you don't like it, keep it inside. Like James says, if you have nothing nice to say,
Yep.
don't say nothing at all, unless you're me.
Bigger
Suck it,
picture.
Trudeau.
Bigger picture. Just like period.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Right.
If we all dogpile on
Yeah.
Chris because he likes to shoot a 6.5 Creedmoor, I mean that's his choice.
I love when my pink skirt matches my
Yeah,
Creedmoor.
that's his favorite gun.
You know,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's all just like why fight with each other
Yeah.
when we have enemies
We got a
that
lot.
want to take away everything.
Yeah.
And if we spin this Casey Brooks shit out of control, like we said, someone from Bellevue is going to see that and go like, "Oh yeah, shit, no,
Yeah.
they poached it. World record got poached."
yeah.
Yeah.
fuel
No,
the
it
fire.
didn't because
Yeah.
we're fucking throwing shade at him because we're jealous he's the heir to UPS.
Yeah.
Okay, he can afford it. I can't.
And there'll be some sort of GoFundMe to cancel elk hunting in
Yep.
Washington State now.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'd rather Casey kill him, throw a picture on it, than him getting hit by a semi on I-5.
100%.
You know what I mean? And that thing going, not quote unquote going to waste, but
Dude, good for
I'd
him.
rather a hunter sit behind that thing than him get smashed by a semi,
Every time.
eaten by wolves, you know,
Die of
something-
old age.
die of old age.
Yeah.
Which
They
is
do all the
happening
time.
a
And they
lot.
do all the time, especially here in Washington, because we can't hunt them that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that thing gets eaten, dies of starvation, dies of hypothermia, whatever it is,
Yeah.
hits by a fucking semi or grandma doing 90 and kills her and her grandkids, whatever whatever the fuck it may be. There's a lot worse outcomes for that elk
It's a big
Yeah.
bull.
than getting an arrow through the lungs and he was out in 14 seconds over a pile of food.
Yeah.
Yes, that bull, he's probably like, not a bad way to go out.
Dude, that's
No.
how
I
wanna
was
go.
eating fucking apples.
Right.
I didn't have my ass
he lived
chewed
his
out.
whole life. He spread his seed.
Yeah. I'm
there'll
sure
be
he'd
young
rather
ones
have
coming
that than
up.
getting his asshole eaten out by a fucking pack of wolves.
Dude,
Yep.
that's a fact.
That's a fact.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Ending on that, Jeff, how do we find you?
Yeah, I can head over to the Instagrams,
Yeah.
type in the old PNWild. You can head over to PNWild.com. That'll kind of take you to everything. We have hot links over to our YouTube. We have over to our podcast. Check out our merch store, that kind of stuff. PNWild.com, PNWild, basically PNWild everywhere. YouTube,
Okay.
Instagram,
Just
website.
search PNWild.
We were
Yep.
we were supposed to
You'll
ask a
find it.
couple of these questions really quick.
Oh, yeah, hit them.
because
Rapid fire.
I posted this earlier, and I'm going to seem like a real ass if I don't say anything about any of them.
Okay, yeah, rapid fire.
So we had asked a question about what we should talk about with Jeff, and we had quite a few people reach out, and I'm trying to find those. Here we go.
My name's Jeff.
So are you? The Northwest Hunt Expo just commented and said, "The Northwest Hunt Expo." I think they're asking you.
Yeah.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah. I think that's the newer one they're trying to get in place for 2025. It's up in Skagit County. I think, yeah, it sounds pretty fun. I think it's in March this year. It's brand new. This will be the first time around. It's going to be up in Skagit. It'll be a fun one to go check out. I haven't gone yet, but it seems like they got a lot of backing, a lot of support, a lot of cool stuff going on.
I think it just folded.
Did
No,
it?
Hold on a second. What? This is like another page? I don't know.
I don't know. I think that's what the one they're referring to, but
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Well, there was a Northwest Sportsman show that they were trying to do, and that one folded. We were supposed to do a seminar on that.
Okay.
Cancel because
That might
of
be the
us.
one I was thinking about.
Northwest Hunt Expo.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we'll Google that and become
yeah.
more prepared next time.
Are they talking? Are they talking about Portland?
That we're gonna have a
Baby, this
sportsman-
person just saying we're having a Northwest Hunt Expo. I don't know.
I don't know.
Or they're asking us, are we gonna have a
Yeah.
Northwest
No real
Expo?
question there. I don't know.
DM Jeff set that up. Thanks.
Yeah. Blame Jeff for that.
I'll take it.
Where would you rank Washington's backcountry in terms of backpacking difficulty? This is from Valley Outdoors. Now, you've been quite a few states.
Yeah.
Backpacking difficulty.
Backpacking difficulty. Like I said before, it's kind of like skewed data because I've spent more time in Washington, but I've been to way more difficult places in Washington than I have in other places. So I'd put Washington up there, like number one for our rugged, nasty off-trail shit is really, really,
Oh, yeah.
really crazy.
100%.
Again, I haven't been to the Frank. I haven't been to this crazy shit, that you see out of other places. But in my Montana backpack stuff, my Wyoming backpack stuff, Idaho for spring bear and stuff, it's been relatively like, oh, I can do this. It's not like worse than Washington. It's not any easier. But I would say that Washington, like my high buck stuff, is definitely number one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would definitely say that's true, especially in the North Cascades.
Yep, 100%.
North
I mean, there are
Cascades is
some
a
other
whole nother
wilderness
animal.
areas that are probably a little less rugged than the North Cascades, but North Cascades is brutal.
Yep.
Dawson Kimball says, a moment during a hunt when you look at your buddy and say, what are we doing here? Do you have any of those moments? I know that we've definitely had those moments.
Yeah, I would say number one comes to mind is Trophy High Buck 2023 when our shelter collapsed and we're 36 miles from the truck. It's 2 a.m. We got 12 inches of snow and our shelter broke. It's
my
kind of like,
gosh.
what the fuck are we doing? Well, this is pretty dumb.
Dude.
We should probably hit the button.
Hard no.
It was pretty spooky.
Hard.
That was probably the most scared I've ever been in a hunting scenario. Just no bullshit, guys being dudes.
Yeah.
It's probably the most scared I've ever been. It was like dead asleep, 2:30 in the morning, and we went to bed and it was like just a light snow. Like, so it wasn't even in my mind.
Right.
Right. And we woke up and all I heard was like the loudest pop you can imagine because it was a carbon fiber pole.
Oh,
And the carbon fiber pole snapped in half due to
shit.
snow weight.
Right.
And so it was like dead asleep, 2:30 in the morning, the carbon fiber pole snaps. So you can imagine being woke up to that.
Right.
Right. And you're only like, you're kind of already edge. It's like three nights into the wilderness. You just
Yeah.
had got howled at by wolves. So you're a little on edge, right?
Yeah.
So you're kind of like, oh, yeah, a little
dead
bit
asleep and
spooky
you hear
shit. Yeah. Oh, dude, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like instantly like hearts racing. And then I'm being waterboarded because our shelter is on my face, covered in 12 inches of snow.
Right.
So it was like, boom, you lift your head up, and then you have this canvas covered in snow on your face. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, instantly in my mind, I thought it was a moose. Like, because we're in this huge like meadow.
Yeah.
I'm just being 100% honest.
Yeah.
We're being attacked
I
by
thought
a
like a
moose.
moose ran through our shelter.
Right.
Because like I remember like going through and there's moose shit in our meadow and
Yeah.
stuff, and we
Yeah.
just saw a moose that night, like
Yeah.
way off in the distance, and I was like thinking like maybe a moose in the dark was
Yeah.
rutting and ran through our shelter
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Smelled you.
Yeah.
For whatever reason,
Wanted
weird
to put
thought.
12 inches on your face
Weird thought.
of snow.
No
This
doubt.
is where your brain went.
It's where my brain went. I was just like, we just got ran over by a fucking moose. What are the chances of this? And then
It's
like,
probably really heavy.
it was really heavy.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
And then like so the shelter's on us, a big pop, and I was like, "What is it?" I remember yelling, "What is it?" And then that's where my head was. And then we come to find out it was our shelter just collapsed on us because of snow. And so we unzip, and I'm outside, and I'm like I don't have rain gear on, I don't have anything on, and now it's like a whiteout fucking 12 inches of snow, crazy conditions, and it was like we don't have a shelter, and my sleeping bag is getting wet by the second. And we're 36 miles from the truck. So there's no option of like, let's just run back to the truck tonight. We'll fucking figure it out in the morning.
Did you guys have a stove?
We had a stove, but it wasn't running.
Okay.
So that was like, we go back and forth with that too. It was like, if we had that running, would that have melted the snow at a rapid enough pace
Right.
to reduce that weight of the shelter?
Yeah.
Because we had a huge 8-person shelter that's a lot of square footage.
Yeah.
Probably would've
on a little pole.
helped.
It could have helped, but
Yeah.
by 2:30 in the morning, it probably would have been out too.
Yeah.
Or it could have been worse. If it didn't help, now we have a like
Whole.
hot ass pipe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a collapsed shelter could have burned sleeping bags.
Yeah.
You'd have fucking goose sale going on. You could have ruined your shelter. Anyways, like in those first 10 minutes of like, we don't know what to do yet,
Yeah.
I was like, this is really bad, dude. This could be really bad. Like hit
Yeah.
the button bad.
Yeah.
And we know no one's coming.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
fucking whiteout.
Yeah.
Coast Guard's not coming in
Yeah,
those
yeah.
conditions. I know better.
Yeah.
They're not going to come till it's bird blue and they can get in there safely, even though
Yeah.
you're fucking dying.
Right.
Like I was like, this is going to be pretty shitty. Like this is a really bad situation here. But yeah, that was kind of like the what the fuck are we doing? That's probably the hands down the most scared of
Did you
everybody in
guys
that country.
stay in after that, or did you guys get out?
We ended up staying in there.
Attaboy.
We had
Remanufacture
a tripod. We set the tripod up, and then a trekking pole inside of the tripod loop, so it was like it was sufficient. And then the next day, we had like 48 hours in the shelter in that tripod manufactured
Yeah.
tent pole. We tried leucotaping
Yeah.
the tent pole, so we like that middle section was gone. It just snapped in half. So we took that middle section out, but it didn't have like the clips now.
Right.
So I was like, let's put that in there, set that down, and leucotape it. So we used a whole roll of leucotape, put it up there for 2 seconds, and it just went just too much weight, staked out properly.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, we got to figure something else out. So I had the tripod, like my tripod set up, and then I could take the center pole out of the tripod and like the glassing part,
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
that out, put a trekking pole in, extend the trekking pole all the way up, and it held the shelter for
Really?
the rest of the trip. And it was like 5 more nights.
Nice.
But we were working on that. But for that whole next, like when the snow happened, I remember going out into the woods and I was like, we got to get a tent pole. And I was looking for a fucking stick
yeah.
in the middle of the night
Yeah.
in a fucking
Yeah.
whiteout.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for a straight enough, perfectly 7-foot tall stick. Zach's like, get the fuck in the tent, you idiot. We'll figure something else
Dude,
out.
I'm cutting a tree down, bro.
And that's what I was doing.
Like
I was out there
legit
with my
tree.
saw, and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking get a tree. And it was just like, you're getting soaked by the second. Shelter's on your sleeping bag by the second. Everything's getting wet by the second. And it was just like one of those, like I was just sleeping, and now I gotta survive, like
Yeah.
right now. It was weird, man, and it was a fun like looking back on it, it was like a fun test of like, hey, fucking get to work right now. Like, how does your body react? Like,
Yeah.
some people could like crying, like, we're gonna die, hit the button. And it's like, that's not a fucking option right now.
Right.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
But it was like by far the most like, oh shit I've ever been in.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, fun one.
One more. Oh, Brad Thompson. Which
old
shout
Brad.
out to Brad Thompson.
Shout out,
dude.
bro. Dude, he's
Dude,
hustling.
that guy's working all the time to
He
save
is
spring
hustling.
bear.
Good for
Shout out.
Brad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says using the Ruckelshaus report to bring back spring bear hunting to Washington. So I don't know. Are you aware of this report?
I'm not,
Okay.
nope.
Brad's very smart.
Well, I'll do my best to try to bring us in a little bit on it. So
He Googled it 3
Rope us
times.
in. Rope us in, Jim.
so there was a report done on behalf of the state on the efficiency of of our game commission, and they found that our game commission is a piece of shit, and that it's very dysfunctional
No way.
and not very productive.
No way.
What? No way.
In like a very straightforward, not so scientific like way of saying it.
Yeah.
And so now there's a chance that we can go 2 different ways.
Fire them?
Maybe 3 different ways. They can get rid of the Fish and Game Commission
Yes, please.
and possibly replace it with a newer, better version
Yes, please.
of the Fish and Game Commission.
Yes, please.
Or
That we have 4 volunteers right here.
yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Wait, what?
so
Good job.
but,
I'm in.
but wait, there's more.
in.
All right, I'm in.
We have Washington Wildlife First and the Center for Biological Diversity pushing for their way,
Oh.
which would be to give all of the states' powers for the commission
Right.
to legislature
Oh, that's a perfect idea. Yeah, that sounds so good.
for for hunting and fishing rights and all that and stuff.
Some like
Which could you-
85-year-old freaking blue hairs.
Yeah.
Perfect idea.
Yeah.
That's never been in the woods ever.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds even worse, right?
Yeah.
So they're basically trying to politicize it completely,
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Which is a terrible idea because only experts should do expert things,
Yeah.
right? Not legislators doing experts' jobs.
Well, nothing should be just based on feelings anyway.
No.
I feel like
there's a good chance for like
you know what they should do?
redoing it
Yeah.
to benefit.
What it should be. Remember when we were on Randy's podcast, he had said the Fish and Game are not doing what they're supposed to do, and they had I don't remember. He articulated some.
Their judiciarial duties.
Yeah, I just love the way he talks. By the way,
Judiciary
so he said like there's a person that's supposed to be for hunting. There's
Mm-hmm.
a person supposed to be for like fishing and commercial fishing, and all these people. None of these people are being represented by their person, right? I mean, we have like who does Baker represent? Who does Lauren Smith represent? Like
She represents the serpents of Washington State.
seriously, like Slytherin,
Washington
you know,
State,
like
that's it.
so it's like
King
that's all they have.
yeah, we're represented by anti-hunting
Could you imagine
conglomerates.
if it was like
you know?
each representative had to be from a different county of the state?
Yeah.
How different it would be?
Oh, dude.
Like you'd have all the
be
eastern
night and
Washington,
day.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then you had like King County, Pierce County, yeah, they do their things. Maybe
Yeah.
Snohomish County's mixed in there. Like he
Right.
might be a weirdo, or
Yeah.
she might be a weirdo.
Yeah.
But then you
Can't
have most of the other counties are probably going to be pretty normal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Yes.
Like, oh, we go out in
We'd
the
win.
woods and
Yeah.
we see what happens, and that's a stupid idea. Lauren
because the
Smith.
wildlife of our state, believe it or not, are not all congregated in a city.
Yeah.
They're spread out in all the wilderness areas and all the
What? No
egg
way.
areas and across
Yeah.
the state.
Trash pandas and coyotes. What?
No way.
Possums laying there,
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
nasty old rats. Devil's
Yeah.
devil's pet is a possum.
Yeah.
Nasty.
There's no
looking-
bobcats and cougars running around town.
And there's no wolves.
Yeah.
Don't
Oh
be a-
yeah, there's
don't be
no
a
wolves. No wolves
fucking
in this
bigot.
state. Yeah.
So, anyways, we're getting way off topic here.
Well-
but anyways, I think that could be a good tool to bring back spring bear hunting if we could get
Thanks,
the
Brad.
revision that we need.
Good job, Brad.
And
That'd be insane.
thank you, Brad, for
Yeah.
putting in all the petitions, keeping us up to
He's doing a good
date
job.
on everything that's going on with the commission. He's
That's a
on
lot of
top.
hard work.
It
Pay
is, dude.
attention to all
Dude,
that.
he's like the old goat that just does it, and he doesn't complain about it. He doesn't look for recognition.
crushing,
He's
man.
Yeah.
he's just doing it.
Love
Yeah.
it.
So
Keep fighting.
yeah, thanks, Brad.
Fighting a good fight.
Well,
Bring us home, Doug.
We've been going for a good time. We've drank a few beers.
allegedly.
It's
Yeah.
been a good time. Thanks, Jeff, for coming on the show with us.
Thanks,
Appreciate it,
Jeff.
man.
PNWild.com.
Yeah, check them out.
Insta,
and
YouTube.
check everybody out and support everybody that is in this fight. And until next time, stay humble and hunt hard, guys.